Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the regular board meeting of September 9th. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and at this time I would like to call on Greg Jackson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And And I would like to ask possibly if Eric Sanchez lead us in the mission and vision, please.
Our mission is educational excellence. Our vision is that our students will realize their full potential and thrive with integrity in a complex, changing world.
Thank you. And I will call on Eugene Nam to lead us for the community pledge. Thank you.
The BHUSD community acknowledges that in order to achieve educational excellence, we must act with integrity and respect for each other and our learning environment. Therefore, I pledge to model civil behavior and respect in all communications and in public while maintaining a culture of honesty. Listen, acknowledge differences of opinion, do my part to protect an inclusive culture in which we honor the relationship between all school community members and honor our learning environment, including how we take care of our schools and personal property. By holding ourselves and each other accountable to this pledge at all times, we will promote an environment of educational excellence that will allow our entire BHUSD community to thrive.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Okay, I would like to get a motion to approve the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Thanks you very much, Dr. Stern. And a second, please.
I will second.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0 with one provisional vote from the student member council, student member board member. Okay, a report of closed section action. Dr. Chernis, was there any action taken in closed session?
Yes, action was taken in closed session. The board voted 5-0 approving to take actions to schedule a hearing in connection with the dismissal of certificate employee 0000025929.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we're going to have a staff presentation. Mr. Seaman, Dr. Seaman, you want to present them, please? Thank you.
Thank you for the Board of Education. We are about to welcome up our Director of Counseling, Ms. Bond, if she would please come up and join us. And I do, in a moment, you'll get to meet some of them individually, but I do want to give a shout out. Our whole BHHS school counseling program department is here. We also have our assistant principal and principal in attendance as well. And I'm super excited to be able to hand it off to Ms. Bond and thank the Board of Education for this opportunity to be able to kind of catch us all up to speed on where we're at with the reconfiguration of our school counseling program at BHHS.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you very much. As we are configuring the Zoom settings so that I can share. All right. Ready? Okay. It'll be just a second. We're working on the Zoom settings so that I'm able to share the presentation. Good to go. All right, let's do it. Here we go. So today we're going to be talking about advancing the counseling program in the district and at BHHS High School. And this is an overview to start with a snapshot of our new team, which includes 10 counselors. So we're very excited about that. I wanted to start first by saying good afternoon. I'm Christy Bond. I am the Director of Counseling. And for those of you who may not know about me, I just wanted to give you a brief background. I've been a school counselor for over 20 years, working in multiple states. I've held various positions within counseling, from school counselor and advisor to college counselor, head counselor. And now, as I completed my administrative credential, I'm stepping into the director of counseling role. And this position is something that Dustin has been talking about for years as a need in this district. So I first want to say that I'm so thankful that you're allowing me to step into this position and be able to do this work. I'm very passionate about counseling. I'm passionate about student success, and I firmly believe about the positive impact that counselors have on student success every day. So I do appreciate your support again. And as we're going through the presentation tonight, I just want to explain and give you a basic overview of what families and students can expect. I'm going to highlight some of the new programming that we're able to offer due to your support and the expansion of the department. So it's very exciting. And without any more ado, I'd like to introduce the newly expanded counseling department at Beverly Hills High School. So we'll start with our academic advisors. Our academic advisors work with 9th and 10th grade students. Students are assigned to them by alphabet, so the first letters of their last names. And if that team is standing, great. So we have Miss Yeji Nam, Miss Paulina Vu, Mr. Joe Isaac, and Miss Jen Pepin. Thank you all. And thank the team so much for their support in coming out tonight. So for first I want to start with something that is brand new. I've been working with administrators from the high school and the middle school to revamp the programming for our 8th grade students. So I'm excited to share this next slide, which will give you some updates on the plans for our 8th grade. So this year, we are going to welcome our 8th grade students to the high school campus to give them a welcome to high school and a kickoff and go over all things high school with them. We also plan to offer at the high school a separate information session just for parents so that they can get their questions answered, and most of the time their questions are very different from student questions. So hopefully we will be able to cover it all with those sessions. Then another big piece of this is this year we're going to be able to offer all of the incoming 8th grade parents and students individual meetings with their counselor, which I think is going to be a really important piece to be able to help them with the transition. So each one of them will be able to schedule a meeting, and we're going to start those in January, hopefully around January 26th. It might take up to 3 weeks to complete those, but those are already being calendared. Then they're going to continue, the high school counselors will continue to support the 8th grade students and families by continuing to work with them through the summer, getting them registered and scheduled for any summer classes that they would like to take. So moving on to our current 9th grade, there's a lot of programming happening, and in the sake of time, I am just going to highlight some of the things that are new because these are things that we're now able to do with the expansion, thanks to your support. So we're offering for the first time coffee with the counselors, specifically for 9th and 10th grade parents. That's coming up on September 19th. The counselors are all working together, wellness counselors, school counselors, MFTs, school psychologists, to present our SOS, or Signs of Suicide Prevention program. That is in September as well. The counselors, the 9th grade counselors, will be facilitating classroom presentations, working on academic success, transitioning those students into successful high school and graduation, and those start the week of September 22nd. And then another new piece is that these high school counselors are going to be offering meetings for individual parents and students to come in and meet with them to go over a 4-year plan and create that for student success so that they will have that for their 4 years of high school. Those meetings are starting on October 6th. In the spring, when we're working on course selection, in February and March, the parents will have the opportunity to come in as well for any questions that they have throughout that process and meet with the counselors. For 10th grade, exciting things. Again, the coffee with the counselors, specifically for 9th and 10th grade, working on updating 4-year plans and career and college awareness at this point. They'll be utilizing Naviance for activities and learning. And again, in the spring, parents will have the opportunity to get individual meetings with the counselors if they have questions or concerns or want to discuss the course selection process or 4-year planning with those students. All right, so I'd like to introduce the college counselors. We have Mr. Matthew Negersmith, Miss Jennifer Price, Mr. Greg Jackson, and Mr. Eric Sanchez. Again, students are assigned to their college counselor by their last name. Also, Mr. Sanchez, in addition to his alpha assignment, he does work with all of our AVID students in all grade levels. These counselors all bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise in different areas to the table, and they're able to combine that and make a really dynamic, comprehensive counseling program for our students. So we're very excited to see that in action. For our current 11th graders, we are offering a coffee with the counselors for parents for 11th and 12th grade specifically. That'll be on September 25th. Fall classroom presentations that will be supporting college certs, application process, also career and post-secondary planning. Spring presentations in the classrooms as well. Individual course selection meetings and college meetings, which is very vital for our 11th graders. That will happen in the spring, so parents will have the opportunity to meet individually with their college counselor at that point. And continue the work on academic success and course planning and graduation. There are many, many, many events planned, workshops, lunchtime workshops for students. We've got evening events planned covering all the applications, essay writing, SAT, ACT prep, and financial aid. And I'll give you a little snapshot of the ones that are coming up soonest in just a moment. In 12th grade, this year, a big piece is we are inviting parents to come in, senior parents to come in and meet with their student with their college counselor for those individual meetings to make sure that everything is in order, answer any questions that they have, and that the students are on the right track with their college applications and post-secondary planning. Again, classroom presentations in the fall and those individual meetings with the essay writing seminars, application workshops, and nighttime events that are happening. So moving on to our Wellness Center in Norman Aid, we have two wonderful wellness counselors. We have, would you two stand? Thank you so much. Allie Norman Franks, who's our wellness coordinator, and Dr. Eileen McGrun, who is our wellness counselor. And we're so excited to have both of them. The next slide will give you just an overview of some of the duties, and I went the wrong way, I apologize. Some of the duties that they perform on a daily basis, working with all the students. They provide excellent opportunities and programming for our students' mental health and wellness. So to wrap up the presentation, I just wanted to give you a snapshot of some of the things that are happening over the next few weeks. This is from our Norman Aid Center, where every month you can see they have a focus and a theme based on student wellness. Along with that, they do classroom activities and presentations. They do workshops at lunch and activities for students. And then upcoming events for our academic and college and support. Our 9th and 10th grades will be working again on academic success, four-year planning, individual meetings with parents for the 9th grade, 11th and 12th, the application process with essays, letters of rec, and college search with those individual meetings with parents and students in the 12th grade. Something new that we're implementing this year for our 12th grade is during our PSAT day, we are offering 3 application workshops for students, for seniors who would like to come in. They'll be focused on the UC application, our common application, as well as an essay writing workshop on that day. We do have various lunch workshops happening frequently, very frequently. Some coming up would be the UC application workshop at lunch for students, the Cal State application, and the common application. We have over 60 college rep visits happening on campus this year, so that's a large number, and we are very excited about that. We're having good attendance so far for the ones we've had. And looking forward for our community events, we're offering the Senior College Night, Fall College Fair, that's for all grade levels, a Common App workshop at night for parents as well who are interested, and our financial aid workshop, and that's just a few of the things that will be happening up through October. So, as I conclude, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity to step into this role and for the wonderful expansion for counseling in the district.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate getting a review of the program. I know that last year, during one of the previous meetings, we passed the increase in the number of counselors, and to have this organized in such a marvelous way, I'm really impressed. And I'm going to let the members of the board speak before I say something else. So I'm going to start with Ms. Charlotte Cavey.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. I first off want to commend you and everyone else that's a part of your team. Thank you so much for all of the work that you have put into this, and I know the students will appreciate everything you guys have done. I'm very grateful for all of these new additions. Especially, I want to point out welcoming the 8th graders. I think that's something truly amazing. I know as a 9th grader when I came into the high school, and many of my peers, it's very hard. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know what to expect. College seems so far away, but I really think that developing the 4-year plan, informing the 8th graders on what's to come, I think that's extremely informative and beneficial for their future. And overall, I just think it's an amazing job well done, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Stewart.
How do I follow that? Wow. Well, just couldn't be more proud. I mean, seeing this group of incredible human beings, this entire department, and Ms. Bond, you could not be a better person to be the head of this, so congratulations on that. And just, can't be more happy. I want to concur, the 8th grade plan is so crucial, but just seeing this, I know so many board members were focused on this, and to see the transition into something that's absolutely magical. I mean, obviously not overnight, a lot of work went into it, but just, I couldn't be more proud, and I'm just so glad that you're at the helm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you all for joining us, and I want to thank my colleagues for making this happen and for allocating these dollars to expand and enhance our College and Career Center for our students. I appreciate it, and I know we all want the same for them. And Dr. Seaman, you and I bumped into each other one day a couple of years ago in the hallway, and we had an intense conversation where I said, let's do this, this, and this. And you said, I need 3 new counselors. And I said, okay, so just give me a minute. And so this is that minute, and I welcome you all, and I thank you for what I know you're going to do for our students, along with site administration. I just want to give you a little bit of a parent perspective on what's about to happen to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so the first thing I want to point out is that somehow the counseling department became like the blood that runs through the veins in the last 1 to 2 years. And I just want to acknowledge that and thank you all for that. Really, you took it and you made it yours, and it has not gone unnoticed by the students and the parents. And I was going to suggest to you that now you need to channel your inner octopus and reach in and reach out. And based on the presentation, you've already done that, and I thank you for that as well. I just want to encourage you all, especially since we have the academic advisors, the AAs for 9th and 10th, and then the CCs, the college counselors for 11th and 12th, to still please consistently meet as a unit, because there is a little bit of apprehension that because there's going to be a break in the person that will be responsible for a student's trajectory, that could mean that there's a break in guidance or a break in the path. I don't think that's the case, because you guys already look like a pretty tight bunch, but I wanted to just share that potential perception with you. Next, I wanted to ask if you could please consider who or how we're going to help our students with scholarships. I think we have a lot of families who would want more than nothing but to send their student to a 4-year college, but they might have to choose between buying a house or doing that, or taking out a second mortgage, or just sending their student to community college. And we actually have so many more Title I students than you might imagine. And so one thing that I would love to see in here is where do scholarships and financial aid fit into all of this? Because it's one thing for us to ask our families to send their kids to 4-year colleges. It's another thing for them to be able to afford it, and I can relate to that as well. Regarding the 8th grade, it might be something that we should talk to Mr. Waters about, but I think that the advisory program can be put to good use. I don't want to say avid because avid is something that not all the students have the opportunity of, but advisory, everybody's getting the opportunity. And so I just wonder if you might be able to really connect with your colleagues, the counselors at the middle school program, and pick like the first advisory of the month or the second or whichever one, and that's the one where our students start to build up their resume and their like letters of recommendation, that kind of thing. And even at that point, that's where they start knowing Naviance. I would say that if it's something that we can capture all of that with them in the 8th grade rather than that being your responsibility 9th through 12th, maybe it's going to make your lives easier. And I have my resume from like 20 years ago, and I have Judith Cherry 2010, 2011, and I just have updated it through the years as I've needed it. And so I just would make more use of the 8th grade advisory is what I would say. So, and then I really would like to know, is it a myth or reality? Does Naviance actually tell you if you are a Beverly Hills High School student and you want to go to, let's say, Georgetown, the BHHS students who have gone here have done A, B, C, and D? And if that's the case, I think it would be really important to be able to communicate that to our students.
Absolutely. So it does do that. There's a super match search. There's a search where they can go in and look at how they compare on a chart to other students at our school who have applied. And the counselors are in the process of going over all of that with the students when they go into the classroom for their presentations.
Great. Thank you. And then, sorry, one final comment. I definitely appreciate the opportunity for parents to come in during senior year. That's something that we discussed, and that's surely a heavy lift because just organizing those meetings takes a lot of time. My only question about that is, do you think it's something that would better serve our students if it were to happen in junior year instead of senior year? Or sophomore year instead of senior? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just posing
We are
the
going to
question.
offer the individual meetings for spring for 11th grade as well, to start that early planning.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Dr. Stern.
Hello, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
And welcome to Ms. Magrin. Welcome, everyone, back from summer. So this looks great. A couple of questions. So first of all, with the academic advisors, what's the caseload then? So it looks like there's 8 for the whole high school. So that's like roughly like 150 kids per?
About 150.
And does
yes.
that feel workable? Is that pretty?
So far, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's great. And the other thing is that I'm really happy to hear, and I had met with parents recently that they felt very strongly that there absolutely needed to be, one-on-one meeting with the family and with the student. And one of the advantages, of course, of being a small district is that we can do those things, and we want to be able to say that we can do those things. So I definitely commend you for doing that, and I hope that this continues. So just to recap, it looks like the first one-on-one meeting is the second semester of 8th grade, and that's when they come to the high school campus to meet and then map out.
They'll be coming to the high school campus for a tour, and then the high school counselors will be going to BV to do those individual meetings with
Okay,
them
great.
and their parents.
Now, that will be offered, and then you'll just sort of have a sign-up sheet so that it will just flow and people can pick
We're
a
going to
time
be able to
slot.
pick their times.
Okay, and I imagine some families, I don't know why they would want to, but some parents might opt out of that, and they certainly could if they wanted
Sure,
to, correct?
absolutely.
Okay. And then the other one-on-one, so individual student and parent meetings, first semester to create a 4-year plan, and that's starting in October 6th.
And that's for 9th grade, correct?
Okay. All right. And then finally, you said that in 11th grade, there is
Yes.
another one.
Those will be the individual college and career planning meetings for
Okay.
spring of 11th grade. Also, in spring, we'll offer to parents to come
Yeah.
in for all grade levels during course selection if they have a question or concern that they would like to discuss. That'll be available as well.
Okay, that's great. And again, I really think that one thing that's going to continue to put us on the map is if we do offer these one-on-one things, because it's just very important that we give that tailored care. Another thing I want to speak about is I know that a lot of the private schools have someone who is sort of the ambassador to a lot of the schools of interest, and they have those longstanding relationships, and they can sort of, say, hey, I know a great, senior who would be really good for your school, and they have those relationships. And I know we've had a number of college professionals who've come and gone in our school. So who would be that person, or which group of professionals would be responsible for developing those crucial relationships?
So that's the 4 college counselors. They've already started making those connections. They've had some really good experiences with the reps who have come in so far, making connections throughout with them. And then they have their own specialty areas, whether it be maybe the UCs or privates or out of states. But right now, they all want to make those connections to make sure that we're really forming some great, strong bonds with these reps. So they've all been handling them right now.
Because, we're trying to get in front of like
Of
80
course.
private schools,
Of
and,
course.
and they, so we want to continue to do a great job with that. And then the last thing I just wanted to understand, I know that there's a lot of different words for counselors. So for those of you listening, so we have academic advisors, and those are less about the social emotional and more about planning and A through G requirements. Is that fair to say?
Yes, they also do the social emotional and
Well,
the
of course, yeah.
getting adjusted and being successful pieces, but yes.
Okay, and then we have the wonderful Norman Aid, and we have Allie and Eileen, and you guys are dealing with sort of proactive strategies for wellness, as well as those who are needing sessions, and that's fair to say. But then we're also blessed to have 4 full-time MFTs, correct? And who are those individuals?
They are spread out throughout the district, yeah.
All right.
So we don't house all of those at the high school, but.
Right, but they're available for more intensive and
Yes.
long-standing therapy?
Yes.
Okay. And then finally, there are 4 school psychologists, which is
Correct.
what I do
Same.
as a trade. So, and they would do the special ed testing and assessment and report writing and IEPs.
Correct.
So, okay. So moving forward, I think it would be great if we could make some sort of a graphic, and maybe Colby or someone could do this, where there is a flow chart and understanding of all these different great layers of support, because until I spoke to you, it wasn't exactly clear to me, like the different areas and the terms, academic advisor, MFT. So I would love to see what do you think about that, Dr. Sherners, if someone could make some sort of a graphic. Paige and Colby, who could do something like that, that would be very readable and readily understandable, because we have a tremendous amount of support here and a big investment, and it looks like it's really going to pay off. So thank you.
Thank you.
So
Mrs. Sabag.
Thank you. I want to thank you for the detailed presentation. And you basically put our vision, a robust vision of the pathway to college. You brought it to the table. And I agree with Dr. Stern, if we have something visual so that the families can see, where their students exactly line up and which college, counselor and everything. And I think the 8th grade is also important to highlight and to make sure that we really grasp the 8th graders and get them excited that what pathway they're going on.
Absolutely.
Because, thank you for that. And the only thing I want to say is that a couple things is the application and the scholarship, like Mrs. Manicherry brought up with the scholarship. I think the applications and the one-on-one should be, if we can do something, Dr. Seaman also, if we can do something where we can put the students one-on-one with a college counselor for the applications, rather than doing the workshop. Workshop is great, but I think every individual student is so different that it might be intimidating to just
Absolutely, you are correct. And so they do offer that. They work individually with the students.
Okay.
Who need additional help, and then they'll do check-ins with them when they have the scheduled individual meeting to make sure that they're on track and answer any questions at that point as well.
Okay, so are we basically making sure that every student is going to have the counselor take a look at their application, guide them through their application, kind of like a private counselor that people...
Many of the students will do that at home and have those completed, but yes, they can take a look, and any questions that they have, the counselor will be able to walk them through those pieces.
Okay, because it all comes down to the application.
Absolutely.
Whatever you put on the application, because some students, they don't know. Like, they think,
I have to have a sports. I have to have, volunteer work, and I have to do all these things in order to get accepted, which is not generally the case, because they can be doing something else that the colleges will see. Every student has different abilities and different highlights of what they do
And a
on
focus,
campus. And
so,
yes.
absolutely.
And they don't know what will, make their application stand out.
You're exactly right. That is a common question, is what activities do I list and where do I put them? So,
And with those activities, I think it would be really good to speak to the 8th graders and the 9th graders so that they can start on their course of, okay, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a technician, whatever you want to be, these are the activities that will get you into the college of your dream or the university of your dream, so they can start off with the right foot. If we can already implement that as part of the program without waiting to see that they're not sure yet, that would be really good also.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, thank you for being here. I would like to, before I go on with a few of my comments, because I don't like to be redundant, and my colleagues have said quite a bit, but I would like to welcome Shannon Kobeles and Ms. Saruska, who are here from the high school. They are the assistant principal and the principal of the high school, and I want to thank them for their support of being here tonight. Okay, well, my comments are a little different. I remember when I walked into my son's office one day last summer, and he was on the phone on Zoom planning my grandchildren's schedule, and something immediately hit me. What kind of nonsense is this? I remembered years ago, I used to have the kids, all the counselors came from the high school and met with every single student and their parents at 8th grade during the 8th grade year. And for somehow, that sort of went away for many years. And all of it just dawned on me that here, Debbie, my daughter-in-law, and my son were planning my grandchildren's schedule, and they'd never even met the person. They didn't have any immediate contact. And for this one change, I am particularly very grateful. I think this is a very big plus. It's being brought back, and for you, I congratulate you all. That's a fabulous thing.
Thank you.
And of course, it develops a relationship that is, and now with the added number of counselors, the person they actually met with didn't wind up to be their counselor, as it turned out. So that was another issue. So now that you've got this so organized, everybody will know who their counselor is going to be, and I think it will lead to a deeper relationship between the counselor and the families for that, and I think that's very good. The plethora of what you're going to be creating and giving to these kids, no one can get lost in the cracks as far as I'm concerned. That'll never happen again. I hope that never happens, because I think that there'll always be someone for there, in whatever way, for them to be with. Let's see. I think that basically I just want to congratulate you again and thank you for bringing this here. It's been most of my colleagues have said anything that I would have said, and I don't want to repeat. And so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Seaman, who wanted to say a few words.
Yeah, I'd be remiss too. I just want to give not only the board, thank you. You see how much more individualized our program has become and will continue to. And each semester, obviously, we will refine efforts. But I also want to give a shout out to BHEF. BHEF has dedicated, one of the questions was around our college counselors and their connections and their ability to build those connections. And one of the ways is the NACAC, which is the North American College Association of Counselors.
College counseling.
That was close. And I'm usually good with acronyms. But in past, they would pay, if you remember, Casey Barneson would be our college counselor, and she would attend certain events to be in the room with people from Oxford all the way down to Tulane. I don't know why I pointed to you, but, they've graciously been able to send all 4 of our college counselors to be able to attend NACAC, to be able to have that opportunity to make those connections that we want to make sure that they are getting. So thank you to BHEF as well for that as well, and thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for being here, and thank you all counselors for being with them. Thank you so much.
Do we want a picture or no picture? Can we get a picture, guys?
Yeah, I have one. What are you looking at? I have it. We all have it. How about the counselors?
We're going to stand in front of the, right here, yeah. I'm going to move this.
Unfortunately, due to difficulties, Mrs. Marcus will not be presenting tonight, Mrs. Marcus Meets, so we will move on to the agenda hearing period. And at this point, since we have fewer people to want to speak tonight, we will be giving everybody 3 minutes, except if they're seating time, they will get 6 minutes. So we have, and I would like to make a comment that it's a reminder to the community and the comments that must be respectful and relevant to the district personnel business. Personal attacks, inappropriate language, and discussing specific employees or students are not permitted. And I hope everybody will keep that in mind when they speak. And so at this point, I'm going to call on Kimberly Lifshutz, who is supposed to be on Zoom.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you are here. Thank you. And you are going to cede your time to Daniel Lifshutz. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Lifshutz, you have 6 minutes. You're on.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I come before the board today to address a persistent procedural defect regarding the way it has handled various agenda items in recent months. As my comments rely on citations to various legal authorities, I am providing the board with copies of a letter outlining my concerns in greater detail, and my testimony will amount to a condensed version of what appears in that letter. You don't need to look at it right now, if you wanted to follow along. So, the California Government Code provides statutory guidelines that all legislative bodies in California must follow, including local school boards. Of particular importance is California Government Code Section 54954.3, which I will refer to as the Public Comment Obligation, or the PCO. This code section curtails the ability of the board to act on agenda items during a meeting without affording members of the public an opportunity to address the board regarding the substance of those agenda items. Notably, the board's obligation under the PCO refreshes each time the board substantially changes an item on its agenda, even if the public was afforded an opportunity to comment on the previous version of the item in question. The reason for this is simple. The Brown Act exists to block evasive techniques in the conduct of board business. What could be more evasive than taking open comment on one version of a proposal, then creating and passing a substantially different version on the spot? There would be no end to the potential abuse if every agenda item could serve as a blank canvas or Trojan horse the moment an initial public comment period ends. To borrow language from an analogous California court decision, when the public is presented with curtailed and inadequate characterizations of initial government proposals that diverge from what is ultimately passed, the officials responsible mislead the public and thwart the public comment process. Over the past few months, the board has repeatedly violated the PCO by taking public comment on agenda items at the start of meetings, only to then substantially change and pass those items within the space of the same meeting, robbing the public of any opportunity to address what the board actually votes on once its marathon redlining sessions conclude. This includes the standards-based instructional environment resolution on July 16th, the anti-Semitism resolution on August 26th, and the flag ban resolution on August 29th. To their credit, trustees Marcus and Stern have both objected to these violations, whereas trustees Menicheri, Sabag, and Stewart have embraced them with open arms. Indeed, to quote Ms. Sabag from the board's July 16th meeting, "I don't care to take our time." Ms. Sabag may not care, but the Brown Act certainly does.
Excuse me, please, don't mention of the names right now, please, thank you.
It's the conduct of official board business. A decision was made. California Government Code Sections 54960 and 54960.2 provide that any interested person may commence legal action to stop or prevent the board from violating the PCO in the future, as well as to determine whether past actions of the board violated the PCO. The only condition precedent to bringing such action is furnishing a cease and desist letter affording the board a 30-day period to unconditionally commit that it will cease, desist from, and not repeat the complaint of conduct. That commitment must be approved by the board in open session at a regular or special meeting as a separate item of business, not on its consent agenda. If it was not already clear, this is that letter, and your time begins now. To avoid escalation of this matter, please provide a timely, unconditional commitment that the board will fastidiously adhere to the public comment obligation in all matters and shall no longer vote on any resolutions or proposals within the same meeting in which they are substantially changed, as has proven to be the board's pattern and practice to date. I look forward to your prompt attention to the foregoing. Thank you.
Thank you. Justin Greenberg. Is Justin Greenberg on Zoom?
Yes, hello, good evening. Hello.
Good evening. I don't see you on our screen, so good evening, Justin. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. I am a recent graduate of Beverly Hills High School class of 2025 and a current college freshman in Washington, D.C. First, let me express my gratitude for BHUSD and the pathways to success I was given. It is out of my deep respect for the district that I speak today. Thank you, Dr. Stern and Mrs. Marcus, for your continued dedication to BHUSD and its students. As a former student and someone who still has deep ties within the community, we see and appreciate your efforts. To the remaining 3 members of the board, the names of whom I'm apparently not allowed to say, do better. You may think you have ushered in the golden age of BHUSD, but the truth is that your reckless and impulsive behavior has only worked to destroy the carefully crafted institution that your predecessors created. You do not get to complain about the politically charged nature of the district when you are the cause of it. Over the summer, you passed a resolution limiting how teachers can teach. Of course, you masked this policy in a desire for objectivity and standards-based teaching, but let's be honest, there is no political agenda being pushed on BHUSD students, but by limiting what can be taught, you are shaping your own agenda to be pushed. So while history and current events can be uncomfortable, we as a country are supposed to learn from the mistakes that have been made. You don't get to rewrite history just because you don't like what happened. Stop trying to mask your ignorance and intolerance with a facade of nonpartisanship. For the past month, you've spent hours on end discussing flags. While your focus should be on low test scores, low enrollment, the construction site of a high school, or the bathroom stalls which barely lock, your true priority has been these flags. This superfluity of time fails the students you've convinced yourselves you are saving. As one speaker noted during the emergency board meeting that occurred as a result of your impulsivity, you failed an open book test. 2 weeks ago, you were informed by community members and 2 of your fellow board members of the consequences that would come from your infamous resolution, but you didn't listen, and the damage you caused the district will take years to repair. Going forward, I ask that you focus on something that will actually benefit students. You all can do it, you just need to stop putting so much time and energy towards non-existent problems. So since you want less scandals, I and everybody else implore you to stop creating them. Your students deserve leaders, not liabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Selena Serrano, are you on Zoom?
I am.
Okay, thank you. I hear you are ceding your time to Annette Goldstein. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is Annette here or hi? Okay, hi Annette. Please come forward. You have 6 minutes, Annette.
I won't need it, but thanks anyway. Good evening, members of the board. I'm Annette Levy-Goldstein, and I have been teaching in the district for 32 years. First, I want to begin by thanking you for the salary raise that was given last year. It was deeply appreciated by myself and many of my colleagues. More importantly, it was the right thing to do for many reasons. As educators, we dedicate ourselves fully to the academic and emotional growth of our students. The investment you made is an acknowledgement of our commitment and a step in the right direction towards sustaining a strong and dedicated teaching workforce. I also want to take a moment to express how grateful I am to be working at Horace Mann School. It is a very special place, like my favorite place. This school year got off to an incredible start thanks to large part to our amazing PTA. Their energy and dedication are unmatched, from the joyful pancake breakfast that brought our community together the Sunday before the first day of school, to their fun and supportive presence at our before-school activities and mini morning assemblies. Their involvement builds a culture and community, and this in turn builds success. Our new site administrators are also a pleasure to work with. Their eagerness to gain historical knowledge, willingness to learn, positive energy, and unwavering student-centered focus make a significant impact on our daily experience as educators. That said, I do feel a responsibility to speak candidly about a growing concern. I'm disappointed by what feels like a widening gap between the board and the inner workings of our schools. Decisions often seem to be made without meaningful consultation with the educators who are doing the work on the ground every day. There is a wealth of historical knowledge within our district. We have educators with years, sometimes decades of service, and many with advanced degrees in child development and education. Yet too often our expertise is not valued and overlooked. When educational policy is made without a deep understanding of standards, classroom realities, or without including the voices of those who know the students best, it leads to a large disconnect and ultimately to decisions that may not serve our students. This board has made changes that do not align with children's best interests. Extending the day of our youngest learners is not in the best interest of children. Extending the school day is better for TK teachers. I mean, I in fact actually love it. Extending the day is also better for parents and caregivers, but extending the school day is not good for 4- and 5-year-old children. Limiting students' access to independent play in all grade levels, including upper grades, is detrimental to their development. There are many case studies that provide evidence of this. I will email you all links to articles and studies so that you can be better informed when making future decisions. Many of the previous resources that made BHUSD a shining star within the public school arena have been eliminated. I used to brag about all these amazing opportunities that made the district more like a private school at my back-to-school night presentation every year. I can no longer brag about many of these advantages because they have been eliminated. If you are truly here to serve the children of Beverly Hills, you would put their needs before all others, before teachers, before parents, We cannot allow children's development to suffer in order to make things more convenient for the adults around them. Raising children is inconvenient. Trying to raise children while working a full-time job is not only inconvenient, but often extremely difficult. While this may be true, the needs of our children must come first. There are many solutions to supporting the needs of families and working parents that do not burden our learners. I implore you to seek out knowledge or advice from the many of us who have advanced degrees in child development and who have worked in the field for decades and through countless iterations of schedules and ever-changing programming priorities. We are all here for the same reason, to do what's best for children. And I believe that collaboration, transparency, and mutual respect between educators and the board are essential to achieving that goal. I only have a few years left in this community, but you all have a lifetime. I encourage you to reach out to educators in this district to make thoughtful decisions that serve kids first and community stakeholders last. Teachers love to be a part of the solution and are happy to help. Please utilize our knowledge and expertise. Thank you again for your time. I sincerely hope that you take my words to heart and mind, and that we can move forward in a way that brings us closer together, because that's how real progress is made. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have one more speaker, Neela Khalili. I believe I saw her. Neela, you have 3 minutes. I believe it's Nilu.
It's actually Nilufar, but since no one can pronounce it, I shortened it to Nilu. That means lotus, by the way. First off, thank you so much for the opportunity that you guys giving me today here. And also I wanted to congratulate you, Dr. Shernis, for your important leadership that you have ahead. Since 2013, Bianca Foundation have been honored to serve Beverly community by supporting children mental health and social emotional growth. Through our weekly program, we had it during our club time because there was no other time to put that. So the kids come in the room during lunch, get community service, and don't have to wait in the line. Through our weekly program, we had created a safe space where students learn resilience, empathy, and life skills that help them succeed not only in the school and academic, but also in their life. This work feels more essential than ever. When students feel supported emotionally and socially, they are better prepared to reach their fullest academic and personal growth. As you beautifully said it, I was reading it online. Your mission is student achievement, not only academically, but also growth in their life in both areas. And that is exactly what we strive to nurture through our program. We know that you have a great counselor at the campus, but our children needs more. Bianca Foundation offers student guidance and resources on their challenges that so many of them are facing, include bullying, anger, management, communication, struggle, suicidal thoughts, substance use, peer pressure, and you name it. And our goal is to equip them with partial tools that knowledge them and acknowledge them so they can face their challenges with confidence, with strength. We would be grateful for the opportunity to also bring this program to Beverly Vista. And I've been trying for the past 4 years. And now, Mr. Water, which we had a meeting, and I've been promised so many times that we're going to start and nothing happened. With your partnership, with your collaboration, we can ensure that every student has access to support that they deserve. Together, we can help them build resilient confidence and brighter future. And this is our goal, right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for appearing. Thank you. We're ready to go to the consent calendar. I don't know if there are any items I'm waiting for. I wasn't notified, so I'm just going to wait 1 second here. Ms. Sabag, did you have any? I have none so far. It's fine? Okay. Wow. Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I make a motion to approve the consent calendar. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart.
Mr. Stewart wants to third it.
Okay, I will call for the motion. All those in favor of the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes 5-0 with 1 vote for the preferential vote from the student. Thank you. Okay. Approval of the third amendment for employment agreement for the assistant superintendent. Do we have someone who's presenting on that one? Do we have someone to present on that motion, or do I hear a motion to approve the amendment for the employment for the agreement to the assistant?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the third
Thank you,
amendment.
Dr. Stern.
for-
And do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stewart. Any discussion?
I would just love to just thank you, Dustin. We've been relying upon you heavily. You are literally right now the district Swiss Army knife. So just thank you for everything that you do. A lot of these changes have been unexpected, but you have stepped up. You have showed incredible leadership, and you're just an awesome guy. So I just really appreciate you immensely, and just thank you for everything that you're doing for all of our kids.
Any other comments? I would also like to put my 2 cents in for an echo what what Mr. Russell has just said, Dr. Steeman. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Hey, you want to say something?
Yes, I just will say thank you for making all of the visions into a reality. There's so much stuff that I feel like has been let out of the gate in the last couple months, and that has to do with you and, of course, Dr. Chernus and the whole cabinet. But in particular, I have asked you for a lot of stuff in the last couple months, and it's just been more and more and more. And putting these visions into place, but also it's like this whole puzzle that's happening now is highly appreciated. So thank you for your tireless efforts.
You're now wearing many hats in the district, as you know. Dr. Stern.
My hat goes off to you because you have so many talents and you give so much to this school district, and you never complain. At least I don't see you complain. You're very well educated, and you have a wealth of relationships at this school. And I think that I assume you are a great colleague, coworker, supervisor, everything. And so congratulations, and it feels right for all of us. Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Seaman. What I appreciate the most is when there's follow through and there's listening and there's actually doing. So I think that we have, gone through a lot of changes, and you've just handled it very well, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Dr. Chernus.
Dr. Seaman, thank you for being a partner and for helping to continue our district to grow, and for helping me personally readjust back to BHUSD. It's been a pleasure working with you, and you have earned everything that you've gotten. So thank you.
Okay, so we will call for the motion, approval of the third amendment to the employment for the assistant superintendent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0, and a preferential vote for our board member. Thank you. Okay, the next is I'm going to call on Mary Lou de Arcos. I am sure she's here because she has a big presentation. I think we will have a motion first, and then we will have the presentation. Okay, then we'll have questions afterwards. Okay, I call for a motion for the approval of the presentation, for the approval of the unaudited actuals that ended in June. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, Ms. Darkos, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Board of Education, Dr. Chernis. I am extremely excited to go over the 24-25 unaudited actuals. These, when I come up here and report, I usually report the budget projections and as we move along, but this is how we ended the year and how we closed the books for fiscal year 24-25. They are called the unaudited actuals because our auditors will be back in October to audit them, and then we'll report back to you in December once they've been audited. But this is where we're at. I want to go over the cycle again. We are now presenting the unaudited actuals, and then we will start working on our first interim. You'll see us again with the first interim budget report for fiscal year 25-26 and any updates that we have then, based on how we closed the books this past year. The unaudited actuals reports, like I said, it's the actual revenues, expenditures, and balance sheet accounts as of June 30th, 2025 of each year, and it is due to the Los Angeles County Office of Education by September 15th every year. Just want to report on our property taxes. As you know, we are a community-funded district, and so our taxes for fiscal year 24-25 were $70.5 million, an increase from the prior year at $68.2 million. We came to you in June to approve the budget for 25-26, and we gave you the estimated actuals, which were our estimates of where we would end the year. We have the beginning fund balance. Our projections, our property tax came in a little bit lower, and we predict that that's just due to the extensions that have happened in Southern California in terms of taxes, and so that will probably come in higher, hoping for this next fiscal year 25-26. We have our state aid, all other state revenue, federal revenue, local revenue, and a total general fund revenue of $100,717,337. For our expenses, we have broken it down by the categories: certificated, salaries, classified benefits, books and supplies, services, capital outlay, other outgo, indirect cost, any transfers that we've done and committed to other funds. And for a total expenses of $107,753,192, with an ending fund balance of $20 million. Okay. Just a little summary of our, yes, ending fund balance. Yeah, and Fund 1, yes, general fund. Okay, and then our reserve summary, we have our beginning balance, the decrease of this year's fund balance, and then our reserve for economic uncertainties with a total of $29.2 million. And we have the percentages combined of unrestricted and restricted expenses, and then just the unrestricted expenses percentage. Our other funds, these are the other funds that we have, and these are the ending fund balances as of June 30th, 2025. Our ASB account, so those fund eight. Yes.
So sorry.
No worries.
Can you go back to
Sure.
page 9, REU?
Yes.
What does that stand for?
Reserve for economic uncertainties.
So, okay, it's the long version of saying the reserve.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Fund 8 is our ASB accounts, a combination between our BVMS ASB and our Beverly Hills High School ASB. Child Nutrition Fund 13, we have an ending balance of $1 million. Deferred maintenance, $18,000. Special reserve is the Fund 17. That's a combination of our 17.1 for technology refresh and a 17.2 for other liabilities. Our Fund 21 is our bond fund. That's the ending balance as of June 30th. Developer fees, the Fund 35 for bond projects, and then our other insurance and OPEB funds. These are the ending fund balances for those funds. Our next steps would be the approval of unaudited actuals, and then we submit this to our County Office of Education. Like I said, we'll be back in December to present the first interim budget for fiscal year 25-26. We will be making any adjustments based on the actuals from July till October 31st, and then projecting the year ahead. And then we will have our financial audit happening in October, and we'll have them report probably by the December meeting too as well. And as we continue, we'll continue to monitor property tax revenue adjustments throughout the year. Any questions?
Thank you so much. I'm going to go around and ask for questions from the members of the board.
Sure.
So if they have any questions or comments, okay?
Go ahead.
Ms. Cavey.
Hi, thank you for being here. I don't really have any questions, but this is the first time I'm seeing all these numbers, and it's quite shocking. I'm a little bit taken aback, but yeah, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for being here. You'll learn along the way, and you see these presentations as we go on. Thank you.
Ms. Marcus, before we turn to the board, I just want to make a few key points for the board and the community. First of all, I want to commend the Board of Education. What's not completely reflected in this budget, but will by second interim, is we've cut significant amount of management salary, particularly at the district office level. And so we've cut almost $1 million in administrative management expenses year over year. And so I want to commend the board on that, and our staff for taking up when other people, whether they retired or whatnot. There's quite a few high-level positions that we have not filled since last June, and so that's one of the reasons that you see particularly a balanced budget and a healthy bottom line. Thank you.
I believe we can commend Mr. Arcos for being able to bring this forward, and it really deserves a lot of kudos for this. So I'll keep going now. Mr. Stewart.
I'll keep it short. Just thank you so much for the great presentation, and you just have a way of giving us a delivery that it just seems so pleasant. And,
thank you.
A question though is how often do we see property tax payment fluctuations that actually come into us for things that we can actually spend it on? Like, is it only coming in once a year? Is it coming in once a quarter?
They come in twice a year,
okay,
usually, and so that's also part of the reason why we do a mid-year transfer from our Fund 17, just to borrow for cash flow purposes, because we do receive, not like other districts, they get monthly state payments. We get them like twice a year.
And in those payments that come, do we know the property tax fluctuation prior, so we kind of have a good idea of what is coming, or is it kind of a surprise for when?
No, we're pretty much always accurate, and I think this year was a little bit different because of the fires, but usually our taxes end up coming based on what we're projecting. And so we do use a 4.5% projection in growth based on just the prior years that we've experienced.
So we will see a little bit more money later this year because of the state exemption on property tax payments due to the fires.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was reflected, but did we not get word from the state that we were getting some kind of reimbursement or funding from the Palisades kids who came, or some kind of funding for that?
Yes, I believe we did get confirmation. We haven't received the actual amounts yet. I think they're working that in, but that's something that as soon as we receive it, we'll include it in our projections for the 25-26 budget.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
And then
Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you. Just to Trustee Stewart's question, that's the reason why we need our healthy reserve, right? Because we're waiting for the next round of property tax dollars to come in. So we are always advancing ourselves and then waiting to get reimbursed by property taxes.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's why we.
And it's something that we monitor very closely and make sure we're always looking at that for that reason. Yes.
Our reserve is not an ideal; it's a necessity.
Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to welcome you for your first time visiting the board as an executive director of business services. You do deserve that. I remember when Mr. Guzman first recommended you to the board, and you were a younger, quiet, but highly intelligent team member, and it has truly been a pleasure and an honor to watch you grow and develop and to come before the board and to see you working with the rest of cabinet. So thank you for being your best for us. Member Cave, I want to highlight your point about the dollar amounts. Some people might forget that we're a $100 million a year district, but I don't. And what I mean by that is I'm always holding myself to that standard to make sure that we are worthy of the taxpayers' generosity and the dollars that they give us. And so when you hear that we are making cuts to management and asking other people in that case to work harder, smarter, better for us, and we're using some of those dollars, not all of them, for things to close the loop like additional college and career counselors, that's really the hard work that the board has been doing since the spring of this year, and I'm very proud of it. But you're right, these are exorbitant dollar amounts, and I hope this board will continue to be creative, strategic, perform surgery, and make sure that we're spending $100 million correctly.
Dr. Stern.
Not much to add, just thank you so much for your continued hard work. You've always been so professional and so competent, and we're just so happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag.
Also, thank you so much. And I agree with Mrs. Manicherry. It's a lot of money. We are very lucky to be in this community, and we are very careful with the dollars. We are watching every dollar that is going, and that's going to our students, and we're doing the best for our students. So thank you. The report was fantastic. Thank you.
Well, I have a few comments. First of all, when this report was not in the original statement that I got, so I had a tutorial session with Mr. Arcus earlier in the week. And then, of course, I see this, and it all just melts away. So this is really, of course, makes very clear what I was questioning earlier in the week. But this is a beautiful presentation, and I thank you. And I want to make a mention about, now that you're on board, actually, you were the bench that came forward to take the spot and come forward, and you came off the bench, and you are really up to bat. So you are a bench, and you are really a great bench. So I wanted to mention that. And again, I want to thank you for the time that you gave me for the tutorial. I just want to make a little comment to Ms. Cave. When I started on the board 6 years ago, our budget then was $65 million and $68 million. So a lot has happened in the course of the last 6 years. And it doesn't surprise me that we're now at $100 million when we were at $65 million 6 years ago. So I just wanted to share that with you. It goes up every year, thanks to the people. And I just want to make one more comment, and that has to do with the reserve for unfortunate, whatever, for things that happen, unrestricted things. We have two figures here. We have 27% and 31%. And I would like to mention, or I would like clarifying from you, that many years ago, when I was on the board, we voted to have a 30% unrestricted, reserve for a certain thing. When you look at the 27 and the 31, which is the real figure that we're looking at, 27% or 31% right now?
The real number we're looking at is the 31%. That's our unrestricted reserve.
Okay. Wow.
But we do want to be over 30% because of not just our cash positions, but also if property values go down and we have a huge dip in property taxes, then it'll be greatly impact us.
Well, the reason that the 27 is also includes the restricted expenses.
That's correct.
That's what I'm trying to point out.
Yes.
So that we're looking at two figures, and that which one is for unrestricted and restricted combined. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your report. I really appreciate it. I know the members of the board do, because you make it very easy for them to, and for me, to understand. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. I
And-
appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm so
I'm
glad
just
to
about-
work with you all.
Now I'm about to call for the motion, because we have a motion on the floor. I would ask for a motion to approve, or the vote to approve the third amendment. No, to approve the presentation of the, accepting the audited actuals. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, 5-0, and 1 with the provisional. Okay. Resolution 2025-2026-04. I guess we will need a motion for the resolution, adoption of the GAN limit. Do I have an explanation of that? Or I will make a motion to approve the resolution. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Any discussion? No? Questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 5-0 with 1 provisional. Okay. A motion for the rejection of claim number 659573. Do I have a motion for the?
so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, Dr. Stern. Do I have any questions or anything? No? Call for the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those, and 1 provisional. Okay, this was only for informational only. I don't know about that it's claim 659574. It's just there for informational only. There's no action on the item, I believe.
Wait, I'm sorry, I thought we just voted on.
That was 659573. This
Got
is 659574.
Understood, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I will now have a bond program, construction bond program update with Mr. Solari and Amin and Mr. Will.
Hi.
Aha. Okay. Is that Elliot? Yeah. Hi, how are you? Okay. Do we have something on that? Yeah, okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's nice to see you.
Same here. Good evening, board members. Dr. Charnis, thank you for having us tonight. Okay, believe it or not, it's almost or more than 3 years actually that I am coming in front of you and updating you about your bond program. And every time that I am here, I feel more comfortable and confident about the promises that we made 3 years, and we are basically fulfilling those promises, and we are getting closer to the end line. So this presentation also all good news is about what we have done. Just a reminder, the first slide is the value engineering that we did at the beginning of this program, the items that was changed, and without making those changes, continuation of the program, it wasn't possible. Again, as you all remember, we were hearing that we are going to have $80 to $100 million deficit when we started. These were the items that without having any impact on your basically program, we value engineered, and these all without consideration of the night work. So if you consider night work at the time that we were hopeful that we can do all the construction during the day, that later we figured out that this was not possible. So this $18 million, if you want to consider the $18 million saving, that if you want to consider the night work, you have to add another 30% to that at least. So this work was the original value engineering that basically we implemented. Next, please. Just another overview and reminder that what the site is going to look like at Beverly Hills High School when we are done with the entire program. You will see the Grand Lawn, the Building C New Conheim, From the top corner on the left, you see the upper athletic field, the tennis courts, and the softball field is completed right now. When we move south, B3, B4, half of the building is completed and the other half is close to completion. Building C, or New Conheim, you will see that whenever you drive around the high school, the walls are going up and the construction is in progress as planned. And the south side parking lot close to Olympic and Heath, that's going to be our next project, and I'm going to talk about it in further slides. And after that, to conclude the program, we are going to do the south side athletic field, which includes your football stadium and the baseball field. Some of the achievements during the summer, this is the asphalt project of the Heath Road and the renovation of the glass lobby as we are opening your main auditorium. So basically we wanted to have some cleaner look over there. These are the two small projects that was done past summer. Next, please. And the schedule for our future projects, everything is moving forward for our basically in progress or future projects. The Conheim started in October 2024, and that includes also the swimming, outdoor swimming pool, and our goal is to complete that in December 2026. We are moving forward on the schedule, no concern. The Grand Lawn, we are going to start mobilizing to that side of the site on Friday, and our goal is to our goal is to complete that project by end of your basically winter break. And the rest of that, which is the front of New Conheim, is going to be done by end of 2026. Upper athletic field, the actual athletic fields of the project is completed and delivered to the school, which includes the 6 standard size tennis courts and the softball field. And the rest of the project is going to be done by the end of the year. We are hoping to be done earlier, but that's the contractual completion date. So I'm hoping to finish that ahead of the schedule. And the security devices and camera project is also ongoing, and hopefully is going to be done as planned by end of this month. So these are the projects that we have in hand currently. Some of the photos of B3, B4 project. So again, you see it. That's a dance classroom. And at the bottom, you see the Salters. Below that, you see the music classroom on the right, and the main auditorium ceiling that's basically almost complete. And one of the challenges was those side walls, the cheek walls. As you can see, those are complete. And as of today, we are installing the seats inside the auditorium. So things are moving very quickly. We had over 80 workers working inside the building today. And again, the upper athletic fields, tennis courts, and the softball field. Some pictures of completed work. Building C, or New Conheim, that's the rendering that you have seen in the past, and some progress photos after that. I just intentionally picked that photo because basically that's your main entrance. Those 3 doorways that you saw in the renderings basically now is kind of getting the shape of a building. And yeah, some night work. We are done with the majority of the night work for Conheim project. The only thing that left is going to be a short period that they are going to start basically excavation for the actual pool. Everything was very successfully managed, so we met all the requirements of AQMD, and we are moving forward. The Grand Lawn, as I mentioned, we are mobilizing to the site at the end of this week, and that's basically the north portion of that, as was promised to you, and our goal is to complete that by the end of the year. One of the projects that we need to go to procurement, and it's going to be the Southside Athletic Field, and that's the last project of the bond program. Our plan is to basically, instead of value engineering, when we go through the leaseback, during pre-construction, there are some supporting buildings. As you can see, like there are a couple of storage buildings, that we may or may not need that. Our goal is when we ask the contractor to price that in pre-construction, we are going to make them like an a la carte menu and have them price every one of these components separately, so we can basically delete that or just eliminate that portion if we are not within the budget, to make sure that we can basically move forward. Some of these buildings can basically, for example, you can have temporary a container facility to just meet the storage rather than building a permanent building. And in future, if you have the funds, you can do that. Hopefully we can do all of it. I have some really good news about the budget, you will see that, but that's our goal to how we are going to procure this portion of the contract.
Excuse me 1 second, Ken.
Sure.
What is that building directly in front of the swim gym? It's like a long, narrow building. Is that the old Conheim there, or is that,
No,
what is that?
that's one of those buildings that I was talking about. It's the storage and support facility for the athletic fields.
Okay, that's the storage, okay.
That means equipment. Is there restrooms in there?
On this one, no, but we have other restroom buildings and the two sides of the, And just again, just to show the configuration of how the site is looking like and is going to look like, there were some questions about the existing Conheim. So without demolition of the existing Conheim, we won't be able to build your future football stadium and the baseball field. As you can see, that red box is the footprint of the existing Conheim, which basically impacts both of them. So we have to demo this building.
Just a quick question before we go on. I noticed that from the parking lot, if people want to walk from the parking lot to the facilities, they're going to go through an area behind the baseball field and over toward the football or to the swim gym or whatever. Is there going to be some lighting there? That I thought about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's not only the only path. There is a set of switchback ramp that goes toward the, basically on the far end, close to the Olympic Boulevard, that they can walk down to football stadium if they park there.
There'll be lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one project that I want to talk is the future parking lot. We originally, if you remember from our last presentation, we were planning to finish this at the end of the program, but we did some basically shuffling around, and there is a possibility to do that project faster. We are planning to move forward with a design build project. We already developed the scope, and instead of finishing that at the end of, basically, as you can see, we are going to start the procurement and selection of the design build entity at the end of this month, and hopefully we'll be done by end of October. We are hoping to have the design and pre-construction services done by the end of the year. After that, we have to wait for DSA approval because the scope of the project is not that significant. We are hoping to get the approval by the end of March, and hopefully we can have this constructed by June or July of 2026.
How many parking places are you expecting?
Over
there?
100.
Over 100.
Yeah.
Can I just make a notation for the newer board members and even Dr. Chernus? So in previous iterations, there was supposed to be a parking structure under the new Conheim.
Correct.
And that was going to be many, many millions of dollars more costly. And notwithstanding that, should we have continued the path of going underground, it also would have resulted in the need for a lot of retaining walls and much more costly and time-consuming earthwork to happen going down towards the south side. And so, so that's why the decision was made to move the parking down towards the south side, and we ultimately will have about 30, 35 more spots with the new configuration than we would have had in the subterranean approach. And from a security perspective, it also was causing our security team a lot of heartburn to have access into the schools from the front and from where the science building is now. So it's considered that it's going to be more manageable and containable. And then seeing these pathways down is a real comfort, because I know a lot of folks were concerned that the compromise of the parking was access more than just the parking spots. And so I think that now we're seeing them where folks can very easily dip down into the athletic facilities without a problem. And if you go to other campuses I've been doing the soccer circuit for many years, you don't even see subterranean parking. It's all a lot of flat land. And so I just want to say thank you. And I knew you were going to end up doing the parking lots first. Somehow in my heart I knew, and I'm happy to hear about that. And I know it's going to really help our Beverly Hills High School program, and also the KL Peters and other events that hopefully we'll be hosting. So thank you for making that happen.
Of course, thank you for your support. And one of the other concerns when we were originally talking about the south side was the access and traffic. So we had a couple of meetings with City of Beverly Hills, and we already discussed this idea to have like a separate driveway inside the property. So that's also going to be part of this design build project. So when you have events, you can have like a one-way entrance from the Olympic, which is not going to have any impact on the traffic of the Olympic, and they can just get in here, get into the parking lot, surface parking lot, park, and they can leave the site basically from Heath and Moreno. So this idea already was discussed with the city, and the city is basically, they like the idea. And we are basically moving forward with this to resolve the concern of any possible traffic issues when you have events and you have game. So that's going to resolve that.
Thank you so much. We're going to go around the board here and see if they have questions.
We need to talk about the budget. Dollars.
Yeah.
Oh.
The juice of that still is there, so.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
No problem. So the last presentation, again, it's all good news. I just want to have the last presentation that we had in April. I just make it compare side by side as far as the availability of the funds, our deficits, and where we are. I don't want to go through this line by line, but everywhere that we can find saving, it's basically incorporated in that. I just want to talk about upper athletic field, although like you're adding an amendment to that project. But our budgeting and saving in the other areas of that project was very accurate. So originally when we were planning, we were thinking that this is going to be, as I said in basically April, this is going to be 17.5. But right now that we are getting closer to the end of the project is $17.3 million. So despite the change order or the amendment that you are going to approve as the next item, we have saving in the overall budget of the project. Not only that, the good news on the program, and again, this is everything is budgeted. In April, we were thinking that we are going to have $16.2 million deficit, and right now we are like close to $11 million. And this is not with the consideration of the technology bond funds. So, and basically, if you go to the bottom of the table, if you add the $6 million from the technology fund, and basically we did a little bit better on the anticipated developer fees and the interest. So if we, very conservatively, we think like right now with everything budgeted in, we are going to have about like $3 million deficit.
I guess this is a question for Will, possibly Mary Lou, but I'm pretty sure, well, I wouldn't know, but are you familiar with whether or not we've added the developer fees from the One Beverly project into our projections?
No, it's not in the projections.
Okay, so if you guys could do some work on that and bring it back, I think we could see the One Beverly Hills project will result in increased developer fees for our district. And so if you look at the bottom line here, anticipated developer fees, that project isn't included in here. And so we could see a decent amount of money. And I don't know how much, but it's not in here.
But Dr. Chernus, can I ask you a question about that? because in the past, when we were working on different projects, we were advised that developer fees can only be used in very particular classroom or classroom adjacent ways.
For increased enrollment.
To increase enrollment and so on and so forth. And so, while I love your suggestion, and I cannot thank you enough for taking, I only wish you had started 1 year earlier, is the fact of the matter.
Or 3 years.
But can you ask our staff that while they're looking into that suggestion, they could also dive into the limitations so we can make sure to use those dollars sooner than later? Because, for example, the new Conheim has classrooms. Whereas if we end up moving to the athletic fields, then we might be restricted in using the developer funds that way.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So we'll do the work on any additional developer fees we'll receive, and then let's just target specific projects within the bond that are allowable for developer fees, so we can make sure we're in line.
Thank you.
The only caveat to the One Beverly Hills is that you're not going to see those monies till they start selling the properties. So, and hopefully, again,
Yeah, so that could be a few years down, and then we're also expecting modernization dollars starting from 2028. But we were not too long ago considering the idea of going out for a COP or other type of a loan for $10 to $15 million. And so if we're going to end up carrying 3, 4, maybe less for a shorter amount of time, that's still super exciting, such a relief.
Yeah,
Thank
again,
you.
I think we are, as we pledged that we are doing our best to finish your program, we are getting there as we move forward. Hopefully, again, the only thing that may face this deficit is the Southside project for now. And hopefully by the time that we get there, we get more creative and find a way to, again, just pick and choose which portion of that we can build, because technically we cannot go under a construction contract unless you have the funds. So again, hopefully by that time we have a better understanding and we can just make that happen.
So then that's where the à la carte approach will happen, where we could, some of the outbuildings, we could always put them on, like you could equip them, the lighting and the plumbing and so on. could
Exactly. We
be-
can do the infrastructure and just build the building whenever you have the funds.
Okay.
And we're also looking already at some use of these technology funds for some of these projects, including LED monitors, what do you call it, marquees, things like that, that will help go with the projects very well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation.
Can I
And we're
make
going to
one
now
last
go
comment?
around and ask some questions, comments. Ms. Cavey?
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This presentation was extremely informative, and as a student, this is really exciting to see all the progress that's being made, even though many things will be done once I graduate. But overall, it's very exciting. I do have one question, specifically for the main auditorium. Do you have a projected date for when that will be
By
completed?
end of the month, hopefully.
The end
everything's
of the month? Okay, very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Thank you guys for the amazing presentation. I'm just going to go off book real quick. I just want to thank you all, and you too, Elliot, back there. The progress of the beginning phase of KBEV has been amazing. I was in there like last Thursday or Friday. There was still a few things to go, but just the transformation and how quickly that you guys got it done. I think the contractor's done an unbelievable job. I've had no complaints of any disruption to classes or teachers or students. So the fact that I think they filled, 6 bins full of stuff to get rid of stuff, and the fact that it's gone almost undetected is unbelievable. So thank you guys just for how well you've managed that, and look forward to phase 2 to the build out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Thank you. Just reiterating how far we've come and how fast and on budget. So I truly, truly appreciate it. And I also want to note, in addition to the KBEV, you gentlemen all have your hands on the TK and Kinder Yard that's now completed, the turf replacement at Horace Mann that happened not too long ago, and I was on there Sunday, and it is super soft and bouncy and safe. The anticipated completion of the turf replacement at BVMS, and now the courtyard at the high school next to the KL Peters, the bathrooms next to the KL Peters, and the list goes on. So thank you so much, and it has not gone unnoticed by the community as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Stern?
Nothing further to add, but just very happy, and I'm happy to see that we are within budget and within timelines, and looking forward to December and the end of December, Christmas time, to see the Grand Lawn. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, so thank you also. What I'm really pleased is that you're here every board meeting, you're giving us the updates, and this is tremendous help. So I personally really appreciate it. It's so important to hear what's going on rather than waiting, a month or 2 months. This is really detrimental. And I just have a question, and I don't know if it should be related to you or maybe Dr. Chernus. We do have a problem with pickup and drop-offs. Remember, we had the BHPD come in here and tell us they're going to ticket, but I was thinking maybe they'll help us to facilitate some of it. I was thinking the one on Olympic, I really like the idea that you spoke to the city of Beverly Hills, and we have, I see through the picture, we have a path going in to the parking lot and then going on in the back. Does that continue to go all the way around the school? And what does it do? It goes through the parking lot and comes out?
Straight to Marino.
Okay, so I was thinking, could we use that as a drop-off and pickup?
Such a good idea.
We also
You could have two.
Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Because
Sorry
the
to interrupt you, but
front-
the kids who are getting dropped off by parents, it could happen in the front.
So
and then the kids who are driving in, it could happen off Olympic.
Yeah, so what I was thinking is the front, even though you're cutting in the curve, which is tremendous help, it will be great. The problem with that, I'm thinking, kids' mind, maybe, you can help me with that, is it's a long way to walk. You have the Grand Lawn, which is huge, and I know the kids back then in the day, that's probably what they did. And plus, it'll get traffic. Even though as big, I'm not sure how many, feet or how long it is, but it's still going to cause traffic, I'm thinking. This one seems like it could be consistent, and then if we have somebody helping along the way, making sure that the traffic is going through, I think it could work really well.
Yeah, it's better than the kids going in through the science building with their cars.
Right.
So now we have so essentially we have drop-off in the front of the front lawn, and then we have the students who driving in through the Olympic side and dipping over, which we
And
can
security would be fantastic, because we can close the first arrow, the first red arrow at the Olympic could be a gate with a security guard. And then the other arrow, which would be 1, 2, 3, the third arrow, I think, well, you actually have another opening there, it looks like. Do we have another open? I wouldn't open that area.
Folks living on Moreno would be relieved to not
Yes,
have
they
this
wouldn't hear the
danger.
traffic.
Yeah.
But I'm
Great
thinking
idea.
that should be closed, and then the third arrow should have another security guard going into the school, checking IDs maybe, and just getting them in. Even if it's with a parent, they can check the ID with the parent, go along, drop them off. No
Yeah,
harm,
that definitely
nothing.
can
They're
be
in
done
school.
when we are done with the project, sure.
Because, yeah, what I see so far is they're like cattle standing in line, showing their ID, and in the meantime, they're late for class. We also have security issues because they're outside, they're being disposed, to the climate outside. Here, once they get into our property, they're safe. That's what I feel. There's safety. They're in the car, in the property, nobody's disposed to anything. So I just feel like that would be huge. Also, our gates that we spoke about is also, but this would actually, I would love to hear, what you could say about that and what we could do if we can do that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions about what they're doing with the driving and so on. I don't have that luxury of driving kids to school and so on, so I'm not familiar, but are they planning on having students park in both parking lots?
That's up to school. We are building it, but I'm sure they are gonna utilize
So in other
it,
words,
sure.
the kids could come up Olympic and pull into the lower, that other first parking lot, or they could come in off of Santa Monica Boulevard and park in the other parking lot, which would reduce a lot of the traffic at the
Correct.
entrance there. And the only thing that I'm concerned about is that if a car wants to leave that parking lot off of Olympic, the only place it can really, how is it going to exit going out of?
Well, I wasn't talking about the parking
Wait,
lot.
I'm asking the
around,
question.
yeah.
I'm asking the question because that would mean that they have to drive up Heath to the to Marino, over that street that's over there. I'm not so sure that I like that idea that cars can go, and so I'm concerned about exiting from that parking lot on Olympic, and then, because coming out on Olympic is not going to be easy. That's going to be a problem.
Right,
So
that'd be a logistical issue that we can figure out and maybe allow some cars to exit onto
I'm not
Olympic.
a traffic expert, but
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you guys. But
If
I'm
I could
sure that
add
you're
on
going
to
to work
that.
something out, because that just dawned on me.
They're not exiting from Olympic, they're just entering from Olympic.
Okay, but where are they going to get out?
So that's what I was saying. They're entering Olympic, they're driving around behind the high school, and they're coming out of Marino, he was saying.
Well, but
where
the point
exit
I'm
is.
making is I don't, that's something for you guys. to
I
look
agree
into.
with you, Mrs.
I would like
Marcus.
to discuss.
So
the-
basically, you
the
can
bottom
resolve
line.
that from under the bridge and basically the tunnel that maintenance use. So you can just have a loop over there. So if somebody, a portion of that can be two ways without any problem, and the portion can be one way during your basically drop off and exit of the students.
Okay, first of all, I am very pleased to see what once was a disastrous lack of funds to finish the project before you guys started. To be very honest, I need to give you such credit for doing all you did to find the areas where we could save money, things we didn't need to do, things that could be done differently. And I have to tell you, nothing can please me more, because I feel that there's nothing more than I want this project finished. It's been years since we've been doing it, and we need to finish the project. And I don't want to see anything get in the way of that. And I don't want to start new projects until this, if it's going to cost money, until this project is finished. I'm sorry, that's the way I feel. And I have to thank you for everything you've done. I thank you for your presentation tonight. And I know, now that you're there, there's the light at the end of the tunnel. We are going to finish, and we're going to finish like 2026 at the end of the year or whatever with the building. Oh, well, actually, because we can't demolish one until that's
Yes.
done, so it's going to be longer. But the building, the new Conheim will be ready. So I just want to thank you for everything you're doing.
Of course.
And that this is just a presentation, so we will now move on. I need a motion. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Of course. Thank you very much for all your support and guidance.
Thank you. See
Thank-
you soon.
We don't know if you're gonna have a question about the next item, that's what we're
Well,
still
yeah,
here.
okay, well, we'll probably have you here. Okay, and next item, and we need a motion for the approval of Amendment B with Erickson Hall and Beverly Hills High School's Upper Athletic Field Project. Now, that includes the tennis courts, the softball diamond, and,
And a restroom building and
A what?
basically a restroom building that's
oh,
gonna
we
be.
haven't done the restroom building yet?
No, it's gonna basically ship to the site next week.
Okay, was that part of the plan?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm asked
a
for an approval.
modular?
Yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve amendment number 2 before we start the
I
discussion?
so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, you want to present the motion, please, Mr. Carrot, or Mr. Ramin?
Basically, the reasoning behind this is that when we had the budgeted amount, the main impact on this amendment is the night work and disposal of the soil, the contaminated soil from the site. Unfortunately, factors out of our hand, mainly the fire, added to the cost because the original disposal facility that they were planning to dispose the soil there was receiving the material from the fire area, so they had to go to a further basically place. This added to the cost of trucking tremendously and added to the time of the night work. So the big portion of this change or amendment is covering the cost. Basically, impact. We had a budgeted number and we went beyond that, and main portion of this amendment is that and some other items that basically added to the scope owner requested items.
Thank you. Wait, let's go around. Ms. Cavey, any question?
No more questions, thank
Okay,
you.
Mr. Stewart.
Thank you.
Okay, now your turn.
Thank you. I'm just, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is it's a 2.5% increase of the whole project cost, that's it?
Yes.
For the site work and all these other incidentals that were a result of substantially outside of our control.
And as I
factors.
mentioned in my presentation, we are below overall budget for the project. Now that we are getting closer,
Yeah.
the contingencies that we kept in our hand and saving on the soft costs, including approval of this, we are still about $300,000 below originally budgeted number for the project.
Thank you. My only question, actually, Dr. Chernus, is an operational one, which is I would love for the non-softball students to be able to use the softball field, and I'd love for the non-tennis team students to be able to use the tennis courts during PE and so on. So I just would encourage you to encourage our athletic team to now implement this into like their repertoire of facilities that the student use. Another way to say it is I don't want just our athletes to be using these facilities.
Well, I think it goes, it's a point well taken.
Yeah.
In talking to Dr. Seaman yesterday, we actually were having a similar conversation around our performing arts wing. And we have, you know, a finite number of students programmed into performing arts, yet we have these amazing facilities about to open. So what can we do to maximize Peters? What can we do to maximize all of these new facilities and adjoining classrooms? So I think it goes without saying, we want to maximize use of all these facilities for our kids.
Thank you. And thank you.
Of course.
Dr. Stern.
Nothing further to add, no further questions.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, so it's understandable when you do construction, once you start digging, there's unforeseen circumstances. So basically, we're approving the extra amendment of charges that there's no way to see once you get the dirt. Like there was the oil and pipes and, you know, all these things that they needed to do extra work to dig it out and to work around it and whatnot, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have any other comment. Can we call for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0 with the provisional from the student board member. Okay, I call for a motion for the approval of the agreement with PBWS Architects for a Beverly Vista Sports Pavilion Architectural Design Services. I need a motion.
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, do we have some kind of a thing for this? I have some questions. Does anybody else want to discuss? Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm happy to
let's-
kick-
Well, let's go around then.
I'm happy to kick it off, Ms. Marcus, just explain the project. I'd like to explain the project.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
So we talked about this earlier at one of my last presentations. We're come up with a solution for not having a gymnasium at Beverly Vista. And gyms nowadays would cost over $20 million rather than trying to raise those funds through a bond or whatnot. This solution provides not just shade structure for students, but an outdoor courts that have an indoor feel. So they're covered sport courts is what we're planning, at least, is to design a covered sport court experience for the kids. We would lay a vinyl sport court. We could have regulation basketball and volleyball games, home games, in a covered environment. It's a new technology that many schools, private schools, districts are moving towards, recognizing the cost of building new gymnasiums. This provides a low-cost solution in an open-air, covered environment. So that's the plan here. And so in order to carry out the plan, we need to design it first. So this is simply for architects to design the project.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cavey?
I just have a question about, you're saying it's going to be covered, but it's still open air. Well, first off, where is it going to be covering?
So it's where the current basketball courts are at Beverly Vista.
Oh, where the fences are?
Yes.
Around. Okay. And it's open?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
I've watched a considerable number of YouTube videos on this, and I really think that the experience is going to be fantastic. Barring not making any negative comments about the swim gym, but we don't have a lot of air in there. And to be able to give kids a more outdoor experience, we're trying to get our kids more outdoors, and to now have something that they can be still having the same level of quality of courts, but being able to breathe some fresh air, I think is only a positive. And the technology is great. And like you said, Dr. Chernus, the price of building a new gym is just astronomical. And I hope that we can even look at doing this at Horace Mann and at El Rodeo as well.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Thank you. Ditto to that. I just wanted to understand if there are any, I know architects don't do pricing, but is there any kind of a range of an estimate of what this would end up costing down the line? I mean, of course, there's variations of grades and how much we do, but is this a $1 million project or a $3 million project?
I would say more in the $1 million or below range, just based on previous shade structures, which is kind of what we're doing here. But we're also adding the sport court surface, and we'll probably have to do some grading to level it out. But I would think, without having exact knowledge, is we're around the $1 million or below range.
Okay, so not too much more than the field. And I mean, it is smaller, but it's different material. But okay,
Correct.
I would say that this is, you know, like with the field, where our site at BV will be able to host soccer and football games, to be able to also host volleyball and basketball games, and also to be able to play them in all weather, whether it's for BVMS or for Beverly Hills Basketball League, and so on. I think it would be such a gift for that community. And so what's...
Just one other question. Is it considered CIF approved if it's a
That would be the
outdoor
idea,
sport court?
yes.
Yeah, regulation
That would be the
size.
idea?
No, I mean,
it's not just size.
that's what we're
Intention,
designing
yes.
for, yes.
That's what the, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, yeah. Perfect, great.
Yeah.
So Dr. Seaman is saying cheer and other, all sports can use the space. And actually, maybe we can, you know, just like AYSO has been really good consultants for us, I just would say, you know, if there's anybody at the BHBL side that you guys want to pull in down the line for practicality, that might be good. It's been such a great partnership we've had with AYSO, and this might be BHBL's turn for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Dr. Stern?
Yeah, it sounds like a great concept. I'm all for hybrid in a lot of different ways and a lot of different meanings, but how would you keep out like the elements? So like, I don't know how these work so much, but like if there's like a major downpour or something, I'm sure it's elevated probably, and does it have retracting?
Well, that's a good question. If there's just a downpour, I think it'd be, you know, we have
Yeah,
to.
it's not waterproof.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like the shade structures. So if it rains here, when it rains here, you know, it's going to get wet. It'll drain, obviously,
drains, yeah.
because it's a vinyl sort of aerated court. So it'll drain really well. But for shade, it'll be tremendous for the kids as well.
Yeah, we're going to ask the architect to give us a lot of options too. So they'll include drainage around the courts, and that's especially from the higher elevation to the lower elevation. We'll try to control the water if there's a downpour.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, I have a lot of concerns about this. First of all, the concept is fantastic. We do want shade. Second of all, it's prefab. So prefab should also come with a pre-design in order to get approved. I don't know why we need to pay an architect for a prefab structure, unless you can explain that to me. And then another concern I do have is exactly what Dr. Stern brought up, is the drainage. What is the warranty? How long is this going to last? How much is it going to cost to install it? We are here approving an architect for 300 and something thousand. I'm going off of-
166.
Oh, okay, $166,000 to get the design in order for us to get it approved, right?
But it's with permits, right? Like plans for
Well,
permits?
we don't really.
Or DSA,
We
yes.
don't really need permits per se, but DSA. So, again, it's prefab structure, so I'm very familiar with prefab structures. They usually, maybe they don't, maybe this company doesn't, but they usually have their own design that gets approved.
We still need an architect.
Okay,
Can you
so-
explain
So
the
similar
use?
to
Yes.
our shade structure projects where we use a pre-check design that's been pre-approved by DSA, we still need to go through the whole submittal process and actually basically redesign the shade structures along with the site. The site has to be accessible. They have to do all these studies and also, of course, the grading to make sure we're a level field.
So I understand that we need a design in order to get a price for construction, but we can also get a price per se to understand what are we getting ourselves into. I prefer to, and I know it's going to cost a lot, and I'm not saying to do it now. I want to finish all the construction we have right now. I want to finish it. And I would prefer an indoor gym for BVMS. They need an indoor gym because of so many reasons. The kids, when it's raining, when it's hot, they stick them in the auditorium with the chairs and put a movie on, and the kids have nothing. They can't do anything. They can't run around. They can't do anything. This is a perfect area to build indoor gym. And again, I don't know how much it will cost, and I know it's going to be a lot. I'm not saying to do it right now. I feel like this project is more temporary because I don't know how long it's going to last, and I would love to see it in person and not on a video or pictures, because it's, you know, maybe for us it's considered a small project, but it's not a small project. It's still going to be over $1 million, right? So I have a lot of questions on it. I just feel like approving an architect before even knowing what this product is, which is prefab, meaning it's pre-built. It's not construction being built by, you know, our contractors.
Correct, and all I can do is I can suggest that if we do want to continue with this contract and at their first schematic stage of their design, we can bring them in and offer like a presentation and give us options, and then we could also plan to visit any other sites where this has been done.
I would rather have a visit because presentations are great, and I think this is basically, we had a presentation, or we had a discussion, or there was something being told, you know, to us about this, which I love the concept, I love the idea. I want our kids out of the sun. I want to have shades when they play basketball. I want to have shades in the you know, when people are sitting at the bleachers in the high school.
It's more than just shade. We're having regulation-sized courts, so we can have games there. So right now we can't have any games.
But
We cannot have games because we
Can
don't
I ask
have.
a follow-up question to your question regarding the debate of outdoor covered sport courts versus an additional indoor gym, which of course I would favor because that's even better. That is an all-season facility. You know,
We have it at Horseman.
Horseman has the multipurpose
Do we have
room.
it at El Rodeo?
El
No.
Rodeo does not have one.
We have it at the high school.
The high school
We
is-
have the indoor with the pool.
Yes,
that-
and then we'll have the new Conheim, and we have the old Conheim.
Right.
The thing is, and this is a question for you gentlemen, when we wanted to add to Horseman's TK and Kinder yards, some umbrellas, essentially, umbrellas that were stuck into the ground, they were permanent structures, it was a big challenge to get that approved. And so my question is, I would love what you're saying, but is it realistic to be able to go into the ground when there's a building next door and demolish and build the way that it needs to happen, and first not have an adversarial impact on the pre-existing structures, but then second, I remember DSA had all of these requirements of setbacks as between buildings, and so it's not that I disagree with you, I'm just wondering, is it even a possibility? And then, on top of it, knowing that we're gonna be a couple $1 million short for the high school facility, and this is gonna cost us $200 to prepare, and then about, let's say, $1 million, $1.5 million to implement, how much would a building cost? Like 4 or 5 times?
So 10 years ago, I built a gym and it was about 17 million. So right now we're looking easy 25 to 30 million
Yeah,
to
the
build a gym.
prices have gone up by 30%.
And a few more things is the lighting, you know, if we're gonna have a basketball game inside, what would be the difference if we actually build an overhang that is permanent with gutters that are able to sustain, you know, wind and rain and sun? Like, how long does this one last?
That's what we'll be building, yes, it'll be an overhang, a permanent one with gutters and drainage.
So it's not like shade structures that you have over a kid's playground? It's more like the El Rodeo ones that are.
It is gonna have drainage?
Yeah, and also it's much larger, so we're not just building a shade structure, this has to be tall enough to support basketball and volleyball underneath it.
I'm excited to see what it is. Maybe we could see, maybe you can also email us. I noticed you mentioned Palos Verdes has done this and West Covina.
And I believe there's one in Westwood somewhere over here, I just don't know exactly where it is.
Okay.
Can
I'm
I
gonna
make
look it
a
up.
comment?
Yeah,
Are you all
so,
finished? Okay.
so I just have a couple more things to say. So the only thing that is kind of making me weary of it is that it wasn't really presented to the board as a discussion. It was just, let's approve the architectural. And again, I'm not against it, I want it, but I don't know anything about it. So that's my problem, so.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned about a outdoor court, and you're going to have to build a structure. Take a look at this room. Could you play volleyball in this room? No. And could you play basketball in this room? No. So we're not looking at a small overhang. We are looking at a large, large facility, which I question about the price that it would cost once we have plans. So we're approving plans for something, and yet we don't know really how much it's going to cost. We're just taking a blind figure. And that bothers me that I'm going to spend 166, I don't even have a rendering at this point. 166,000 for a blueprint for a diagram of a building that we don't even have the vaguest feeling what it will cost in today's world. So I'm a little bit sheepish about, and I of course feel very strongly about money that we're going to use. And I don't want to take anything away from the high school and they're finishing up that at all. I'm a little bit concerned about, and yet I love the idea, but I'm thinking about, well, we got a strong wind that comes through and you're playing basketball under this thing and all of a sudden it starts raining and it blows in. You got to call the game, or do you have something that drops down that keeps it, you know, keeps you protected? I don't know, but somehow I feel that this is right now something that is not, I don't understand spending $166,000 for something that I don't even know what it's going to cost. And I don't have the money for it actually either. And I'm not sure whether I'm just worried about that.
And can I say one more thing? Is there any way we can do the basketball games at the high school? Because we cannot do that? We can't do it at any other campus for BV?
If it's okay, I could jump in too. We've had to do all of our games away. One of the purposes behind this proposal to the Board of Education is we have been charged with trying to advance our athletics programs, not only 6th through 12th grade, but even elementary. Horace Mann, that isn't a regulation size basketball court. So yes, we can practice in that facility, but we actually can't have any away teams visit us there. Already we have a strain on our high school commitments, right? We have a ton of sports that we offer. In addition to, we love partnering with the city, and they have the courts as well. Plus we have AYSO, BL. We just have a lot of really great things happening, but it's a lot of tension on that Singleton campus. And so this is, again, not the most awesomest, right? A gymnasium would be the best, but that could take 17, 18, $20 million now at this point. You said 10 years ago. Time and effort. This will give us an opportunity. One, our 6th grade girls and boys right now are practicing volleyball. As a former volleyball player, on blacktop, right? That's what they're practicing on, and then going to an away game and having the expectation of learning how to slide and glide across a hardwood floor and knee pads.
But Dr. Seaman, can I ask you a question? As a professional volleyball player, right? Were you a professional volleyball player?
No, I wish. I played in college D1, but not.
What was it you were professional at? Or wasn't it volleyball that you loved?
I love volleyball,
okay.
Yes.
So my question to you is, if you went to Beverly Vista Middle School, and you had a home game, and you have the courts with the shade, I mean, obviously we have to put, the numbers, you know how games work, and then there should be people where they can sit. We have to put chairs out. Is it impressive? I mean, yes, we'll have the games at BV, but are we doing the kids more service by, I do want them to have the games here. Yeah. I mean, there's no way we can do it at a court that we already have existing, which is Horace Mann and
This
the
is
high
actually
school?
very impressive. It's going to look amazing.
Well, and I also
being
wanted
said, I mean, look,
Okay.
the longer we wait, this is not like the field project. This is going to take a while.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, we are doing a great service for our kids, because any plan to build a full-fledged gymnasium, and no offense to anyone who's in the contracting industry, but it takes a long time. And also, too, if the bill comes in at $35 million, we're going to need to raise the money or borrow the money or get a bond, which will also take time. So the fact that our high school kids, almost 2.5 generations of high school kids have gone through a construction school. So we are proud to get some of these projects done. So to have a system in place, and I've seen some of these courts in person, they're really awesome. So from a visual, I don't think anyone is going to complain. Obviously, look, if it rains, yeah, that's a problem. But the fact that we can get them a regulation-sized court in a very quick period of time, where kids are not going to go another year without having something to play on at a professional level.
To get
Sure,
it,
but it's going to take a decade to get a full gymnasium.
But
Not a decade,
do you have
but yeah, I
Can
understand.
you pull up pictures?
Why don't we suggest, and you can do that, but I would suggest maybe at the next meeting we can come back with renderings. If-
Or can we visit?
I'd love to visit
a
one.
site that
I
has
don't need
it?
to visit, but I will.
I would love
thank
to
you
visit.
for visiting. But I'd love to see some renderings
have all
of the ones that have been done from different angles.
I can assure you this is a better option than trying to raise money for a new gym.
I have no desire to raise dollars, and I would like to say that for the record. Thank you.
What's the overall completion time? Like,
I
say
actually-
everything goes perfectly, what are we looking at?
If it all goes perfectly well,
Do you know of any
take-
places where you could get some pictures of things
Yeah,
like this?
we can get some pictures for you and provide it.
For us to really, I'm all in favor of it. I'm not opposed to this at all.
What are we
Let's
looking
say
at for
like
time?
166,000.
I'd say
for a
between
thing that I
6
don't-
months to maybe 9 months by the time we
Well,
finish design, submit it to DSA, and get approval. Then we have the construction phase.
So,
it could start
2
at the beginning
years?
of the summer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say 2 years for completion. I'd say about a year and a few months, maybe. Yeah.
Is there a campus that has a basketball court with, exactly what we want to do? Okay, I would like to just see that if we can't. I
Of
mean, we
course.
could always vote on this if you guys are feeling comfortable with this.
Well, I don't mind tabling it. I'd rather it be something that everybody is satisfied with.
Because I
and
know
all-
Dr. Trinus worked
I
hard
get
on
in
this.
trouble for wanting everybody to be satisfied,
I think
but I want
September
everybody to
30th.
be satisfied.
I think September 30th is fine to come back with more
Yes.
detail.
Okay, all right, so let's.
Who voted? Who
All right,
voted?
Mrs. Manicherry, you voted for the motion, and Dr. Stern seconded it, so if
I
you would.
will take back my motion.
And will you take back the second? Okay, so, do we need a motion to table it? I don't think so, so we will table it till the next, we will move it to the next
And
meeting.
Will, just one more question. They do not have a prefab design. Is there a reason why they do not?
Well, prefab is probably not the word here, but maybe a pre-approved design. Yes, the architect will be working with companies that have the pre-approved design.
Yes.
But it still does need to be fully designed and put on plans and submitted to DSA
Yeah,
for approval.
So even when we
Yes.
buy those shade structures,
Yes.
we need to hire an architect,
Yep.
even for those, to
Okay.
get approval to install them.
So what my-
Even prefab requires
Yeah, my
architects.
definition is like when there's a prefab structure, it's a prefab design structure, and then you have the pre-approved plans, which is useless to us because we
Basically.
have to get it approved,
Yes.
right? I just want to know if we
Well,
have
not
the
necessarily.
design.
There are two types of prefab designs in the eyes of DSA. So there is some PC approved, which is previously reviewed and approved, and there are some prefab buildings that is not approved by DSA. Regardless, you have to hire an architect, either if it's PC approved or not. They have to marry those designs with the site because
Yeah,
DSA
site
wants
specific.
because DSA
Yeah.
wants to review fire life safety, basically adjacent to that structure, whatever.
And there's
it is.
also going to be lighting, and there's going to be,
Yes,
you said
yeah.
gutters, there are going to be gutters. And what is the warranty?
Well, typically a shade structure is like a 10-year or 15-year warranty.
Really?
But it'll
Okay.
probably be longer than this because this will be a more substantial structure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
These things
Okay.
last forever.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. We have another item on here, maybe you can help us if we need it. I need a motion for the approval of amendment number 2 to the cooperative purchasing agreement with Pivot Interiors for Omnia purchases for the Beverly Hills High School B3 and B4 project. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Thank you, Dr. Stern. Any discussion on this? Okay, questions? No? Okay, call for the motion. Approval. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, 5-0, and 1 provisional. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. See you on the 30th
Get pictures.
with pictures. Thanks, Will.
Okay, we are ready for our student board member report. Ms. Cavey.
The best part. Okay. Student board report for September 9th, 2025. Okay, to start off, we had our back to school night at the high school. This was a really fun event. Basically, the parents were able to come onto the campus and go around in all of the classrooms that their students are in. The teachers created their presentations. They had about 10 minutes per class. It was really informative. It was very fun. And the next slide, this is a picture of ASB. We had student volunteers. We had ASB and the service learning class come volunteer and help facilitate the event. And we also had culinary cater, very amazing food. I don't know if you guys have ever tried their food, but it's pretty spectacular. So we were all indulging in that, but it was a very fun event overall, and it was very successful. It ran really smoothly. Next, we have the first BHHS home football game. This is for September 19th. This is going to be our homecoming game. This is really exciting. Homecoming is always a really exciting time for the high school students, and of course there will be halftime shows, so that's coming up. Save the date. going along with this, we have Homecoming 2025. ASB just released the flyer. We've been posting it up all around the campus. It's for Saturday, October 18th. And we are really excited about the location for it. It's at Eden Sunset. It's a beautiful location. We're really excited to have it there. And yeah. Next, we have the water polo game with Beverly versus Milken. The score was 12-4. We won. Yeah, it was really exciting. We have a lot of friends at Milken, but when it comes to these kinds of games, it's really fun to be rivals with them. And it's also even more fun when we win, so that was really exciting. Next, we have the Dual Language Academy at Horaceman and El Rodeo. Dr. Chernus had the opportunity to go and look at the bilingual students at these schools, and from what I see, it looks really fun, and I'm sure that was a great experience. So I just wanted to put some pictures in there.
You need so many chicken nuggets.
Next, we have the El Rodeo Pajama-rama event. I love these events. I remember going to these events when I was in elementary school at Hawthorne, and they had their principal of El Rodeo reading the book, and it looks like a lot of fun. So these are just some cute pictures. And this is a follow-up to the Beverly Hills Reads event. This was like 2 weeks ago, but this happened at the high school, and basically there was just more talk about the book Isola that we were all required to read for honors and AP English classes, and Dr. Stern was one of the people who was there, and I heard there was a fun Kahoot game going on. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. And so yeah, these are just some more pictures of the event, and I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Can we go around? Any comments from members of the board?
I didn't think anyone could beat Remy, my old right-hand man, at student presentations, but you are, sorry Remy, she's kicking your butt right now. No, you just thank you so much. I mean, you just do this, you know, Remy's my boy, you know, he knows. Super informative, thank you so much. You covered a lot of things that I actually wanted to talk about, so thank you. And I already have slides to even go back to, but no, I mean, it's just I just really appreciate you. I know we just met 2 weeks ago and we gave you a really fun first night. But just, thank you for being here and just hearing some of your questions. I already know that you're just going to be such a great part of our team, so thank you so much.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Thank you. Ditto to that. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for your time on your report and also for your questions. It is really interesting to see the light bulb go off in your head, and so I welcome the rest of the year with you. Thanks.
Dr. Stern?
Nice job, and thank you. It was nice to see pictures again of that event that we did with the book, and I hope to do that again next year. And I'm sorry you missed it. You weren't in that, were you? No. Okay. Thank you for the excellent report.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, so I wanted to say it's not so easy being a student board member, and it's not so simple becoming one. And working on the design that you just introduced, and as Mr. Stewart said, I can't believe somebody else, did what Remy did, either better or different. I would say different. It's a testament to our amazing school. You are a product of all of our hard work, board members that came before us, teachers that are teaching our students. This is our product. So it's such a pleasure to have a student board member here with us, showing us a presentation, working hard to see what's going on around the school. And I hear, through a little birdie, that the students in your what is it, the class, why is it, ASB. ASB, they're saying, please mention this or please mention that. So you have a lot on your shoulders because you are presenting your school, your high school, and all the other younger schools, and you're bringing it to the board, and you're bringing it to the community, and you're doing this amazing presentation. So thank you for all your hard work, and we're very proud of you.
Charlotte, I just want to tell you that I feel like you just stepped right in there was no pause or anything. You just fell right into the job, and you're doing a fantastic work. And it was like there's no change. It's really been, except for a pretty face on the end of the chair. But I have to tell you, no, Remy, forgive me. But I feel like you have really just slid in and done a beautiful job. And I hope you're enjoying it. I don't know that anybody asked you if you're having a good time. Okay, that's the most important, if you're enjoying it, and I'm glad you're with us, so thank you very much. Okay, you have a hard act to follow now, Mr. Superintendent.
I'm not even going to try to compete with that. I will say that it's been, continues to be a very, an amazing job I have seeing the progress we're making each and every day in our schools. From our dual language academy, which is brand new and kicked off, which has just been absolutely incredible to go in, and kids are counting in Spanish to 20, 30, 40. They're learning in Spanish, and they're speaking it. And so it couldn't be more exciting for me as a superintendent to see this program kick off, as Charlotte mentioned. We had incredible back-to-school nights, great turnout at the high school, particularly. We had our culinary arts kids that were cooking and providing food for everyone. We had our CTE program out. Principal Saraxa has really just hit the ground running, and we're very fortunate to have her leading our school. And we're fortunate to have so many community volunteers that make our schools really enhance our programs in our schools. So the high school is off to a great start. We got a lot of ideas. We're looking at the planetarium. We're looking at maybe expanding the culinary arts program. We got kids moving into new facilities. So it's just a great time to be a Norman. And we have some cool events. Speaking of community events, Are You Smarter Than a Board Member? Dr. Stern competed. Actually, our kids got to show what they know, and we have amazing students. So that was a great event in Cherney, and just a great culmination to the whole Beverly Reads event. And bigger and better. And then we just have really fun events, the Pajama-rama. I always love at home when my kids are, getting ready. Kids love wearing their PJs to school, and the participation at El Rodeo and Horse Manna is just amazing with the community and the parents. And so finally, we got a big football game coming up. It's our first home game. I started teaching in a little district called Ojai, at a little school called San Antonio Elementary, where I was the 6th grade teacher, and I taught every subject. It was one class per grade. And I taught flag football. There was a little hitching post where the kids would ride their horses and tie their horses up. So if you've been to Ojai, you can imagine that. But it's a one high school district, and so I think it's really cool that they're coming down, and the Nordhoff is facing off on our against our Normans, and wow, those uniforms look amazing. I can't wait to see that event. So that concludes my report, and I do thank the board for all of your support and for all the hours you volunteer to help our schools. I don't subscribe to those that say, our district is not a great reputation for this and that. Everywhere I go, everybody I talk to, everybody's envious of our schools and our school system. And so it's an honor to work here. Thank you.
Thank you. We go around for comments from the school board members. Mrs. Cavey, Ms. Cavey.
Overall, I think this was a really successful meeting, successful reports, and I'm just really excited for everything that's to come.
Mr. Stewart?
Dr. Chernus, I just have to call you out on your blatant plagiarism of Charlotte's slides.
Yeah.
She did all of those slides first. I just wanted to count that. I concur on everything you said, and I just want to make a second reference to people who I've talked to outside of our city. And when I've ever mentioned that I was on a school board, the reaction is not even close to being negative. It's literally the complete opposite. And I really think that that is a testament to, unfortunately, on the negative side, we kind of live in our own little bubble where when we hear negative stuff internally or from some people in our own city, we kind of think that that's the image that we all think outside of this city. And it's not true. And it's a testament to the great work that we're all doing here. And I'm just so grateful for all of you guys' hard work because we are going straight to the moon. Thanks.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Thank you, Dr. Chernus, for your board report. What I love about working with you is you feel as honored to be here as I do, and I thank you for making that known. I will agree with you wholeheartedly. The feeling is strong and the principals have done a great job. I have received at all the back-to-school nights I've been to, all the AYSO events I've gone to, all the birthday parties, and so on that I have attended in the last couple weeks, the comments have consistently been one of two comments. Either it's, my student is doing really great, and let me tell you what they're involved with this year. The kids are trying a lot of new things, whether it's girls, lady bulldogs doing CIF flag football, or whatever it is. The kids are trying lots of good things, and the parents are reporting that they're doing well. That's number one that I keep getting. And number two, I keep getting, oh, you know that principal, the new principal? Yeah, he's really amazing. Oh, you know the new principal? She's really amazing. And I get that about all the principals and all the assistant principals. So I know that as a board, we made a lot of hard decisions earlier this year. And I thank all of us for being on the same page about it because the feedback is really positive and our students are doing well.
Dr. Stern?
I'm glad to see more live footage of the dual immersion. That's great, very inspiring, and I think that that will really blossom, and I just think it's amazing that you brought that to Beverly Hills. And thank you also for the shout out for the Are You Smarter Than a Board Member? And I was glad to see you there. It was great. So thank you.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, so I also want to thank you, and it's interesting that you said it's an honor to work here. It's actually an honor to have you here. So we appreciate you. We thank you so much for your rapid response. Everything that happens, your response is so rapid that it stresses you out, but it calms everybody else down. And I think that's pretty important that you take it upon yourself to do it by yourself. You don't push it to somebody else. You know everybody has their hat, and you have your hat. And you're always putting our kids first. You're saving our students money, like I will say our students, because when you save us in funds, it goes to our students. And I've watched other board meetings, and we are nothing compared to chaotic board meetings. And it's very interesting, because we think that maybe we're the worst. Go watch other board meetings, and we're not bad at all. So thank you for everything.
I just want to thank you again for your leadership and for when we meet being so right on about things and accepting my opinions and my ideas. Sometimes I come from a different place because I've been around so long, and I know you appreciate some of my feelings about things in the past. And I look forward to your report, and I want to just tell you that I'm really grateful for your being here tonight and for the years so far. I really appreciate it. Okay, we have one more item on the list to discuss. That is a discussion, not a motion, a discussion on the process, the access, and the use of air tutors. And I believe I'm going to call on you, Dr. Seaman, to present on that so that you can bring some clarity to things I've been hearing. Please, thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to open up to the board for any questions. So
Can I start with some guiding questions, just some of the things I've heard, and then I know you have a wealth of information about it, but so I think Ms. Marcus and I had some questions about it because obviously we did devote a lot, considerably more funds this time around for it, and I'm glad for that. But of course, we want to know how they're being utilized. I know that there is a referral process. I'm also aware that it appears that sometimes at the start of the year, a lot of parents are nervous about their students' progress, and so they just put them into it, which isn't necessarily the right use of that. But then I would say to you, well, if they're going straight to the air tutor resource, and that's not really where they should be going, then we need to make it more readily known what is there for that type of student. So I know there are just regular free tutors, right? There's office hours with teachers, and if you could tell us what some of those resources are, and then ideally who can best use the air tutors. And I also want to say that as I've always been pushing for intervention for those kids who are like the cede or the ones and twos on the CASP, those are the ones who really need intervention, such as air tutors. So with that in mind, if you want to tell us about.
I would just like to add that there's a lot of confusion about, and we did speak about this, about the confusion of who gets to use an air tutor and then how they go about getting an air tutor if they qualify. So I'm hoping that you will enlighten the community about that now with your presentation, because that seems to be a big concern in the community about.
Absolutely. So I just need to start the conversation off with, we always talk in our community, in any community, we talk around multiple tiers of support. As Ed Services, I'm tier 1 for all students. And so in this conversation, I'm going to talk about what do all students have access to as far as tutoring support goes. And then we're going to talk about tier 2, which means if it's in a pyramid, all students are tier 1. When we get up to tier 2 and then into tier 3, we're talking about special education and individualized education plans, right? So there's a couple of things, a couple asks here. One is the Board of Education did approve $250,000 for us to be able to utilize air tutors, which was an increase of about $50,000 from the previous year. Per our LCAP, which is our Local Control Accountability Plan, we have to indicate and earmark funds specifically to support our English learner students. The reason we went about 4 years ago and selected air tutors was because their ability to find a tutor in any home language. So we have students that may speak Russian or French and they need a physics tutor. They can find a tutor that speaks French, so the student isn't at a double disadvantage of, I'm not only struggling in physics, but I also still am struggling in English. So that is ultimately how we partnered with air tutors to begin with. We needed to find an English language support system. In that, we realized the quality based off of the lowered Ds and Fs, right? We monitor Ds and Fs quarterly. We've lowered that percentage of students earning Ds and Fs. In addition to, we've had air tutors come out and do board presentations, and they also present at our DLAC, which is our District English Learner Advisory Council that meets 4 times a year. That reports directly to myself, and it's represented. It's kind of like how we have PACs and then the Board of Education. We have ELACs, which are English Language Advisory Councils at each school site, and then they come to the district office for the DLAC meeting. And also in the DLAC meeting, it is part of their recommendation and approval of the LCAP to ensure that we have the air tutors. Okay. Fast forward, after year 1 of only being able to provide, because at that time we had very limited funds, we had about $50,000, we were able to start identifying students that were credit deficient and receiving Ds and Fs, that were, though, academically able. So let me be very clear. Students that could score well, can test well, can do well, but may struggle with a single content area, right? So they may be proficient in other areas, but really struggle in math or really struggle in science. And yet our athletes, right? There's this population that isn't able to access tutoring that is potentially during lunch or during office hours, or they need to travel for whatever. And that's when we started to open it up based off of referral, right? So back to Dr. Stern is, yes, we're at the start of the school year and there are some shaky legs, right? All our kids have the sea legs. They've been gone all summer riding boats and having fun, and now all of a sudden they're back in school and they're in a structure and they're being asked to do a lot of homework. And so we have to separate that anxiety from actually academic deficit and really needing that support. So office hours and free tutoring at the site-based level is for those sea legs. Those kids that we have data on that are struggling, that had failed a course, we are utilizing the AIR tutors to be able to close that gap for them. And that's where the referral process comes from. Those non-English learning students are referred from their school counselor or their assistant principal based on academic performance, predominantly a previous failure, or even test scores for our youngest learners, where we have gotten those 1s and 2s back from the CASP exam. However, again, and we just started referring students on August 25th. So we even gave it about a 10-day grace period just to make sure we knew we did our diagnostics in iReady and in WEA. So we even have those test results back as well. In addition, if you remember Dr. Chernus, one of the things that he brought to the board was our high-impact tutoring program that we're launching that will be running for quarters 2 and 3. Again, those are for students that we have already identified that scored a 1 or 2 on the CASP exam in grades 3 through 7th of last year. We have that list with the principals, Dr. Sherman, Dr. Wardrobe back there, I see them. We are in the process, about a week and a half ago, what you guys do not know, we started recruiting qualified teachers to be able to do the tutoring process. Once we finalize the hiring process on September 12th, we will be training them with an evidence-based intervention program, and we'll be holding free, and I say voluntold or required, tutoring after school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, depending on the deficit area, for an hour in length. So an example is on Tuesdays, we're going to be keeping our kinder, first and second grade students that are struggling in ELA that may have scored a 1 or 2 when they were in 3rd or 4th grade. We're going to keep them. But our kinder 1 and 2 based off of ESGI and iReady data that we've gotten from our diagnostic.
So it's
for
not
the
3rd through 7th, it's K through 7?
It's K through 7. And because I was using CASP, but for CASP, we're using last year's 3rd through 7th grade, which now they're 4th through 8th graders this year. And then for the K through 3rd grade that we do not have CASP exam, we do have data based off of summative iReadies from last year and diagnostic iReadies from this year. And we will be, those letters will be mailed home probably in the next week and a half. We already, like I said, have those students. We just want to be able to provide the parent with the tutor's name, meaning it's a certificated teacher within our district. But so the kid knows where to report, who's helping them, who the parent can talk to with any questions. That'll happen for the full 2 quarters, quarter 2 and quarter 3. So AIR tutors it's not an option for all. It's a very expensive tier 2 and tier 3 option that was really purchased and selected specifically for their ability to speak another language for our students. In addition, predominantly for our secondary students that have many conflicts in their schedule where it prevents them from accessing other tutoring opportunities, such as they're playing basketball and volleyball. So they're gone for 2 sports, they're leaving, and they can't access office hours. That was really long-winded, but I think I got us there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Air Tutors is really a tier 2, and our high-packed in tutoring program is really a tier 2. Our tier 1 that's accessible to all students, we always encourage meetings with teachers, office hours, and then we institute, free tutoring during lunch periods and after school at both the middle school and the high school as well.
Just real quick. I mean, what I would love to do is to decrease the number of families who feel compelled to get tutoring, outside tutoring, because, and I've been there, there's a lot of families who feel like, oh, my kid's not going to survive math without hiring online tutoring or something. So to the extent that we can make it available for those who really need that help, and I understand what you're saying, that there's the tier 1, which is more the universal, whoever might need help, but more serious, like tailored need would be the tier 2, and you're saying a lot of those kids are the English language learners. But that doesn't mean it's off limits to other types of tier 2 students.
Correct.
And I've heard really good things. I mean, I spoke to a parent really well whose child used an air tutor and said it was great. It was, so.
Yeah, and I think too, right now, it just feels, like we said, just a little shaky for some students. And so we're getting maybe a high demand for requests of, I don't know if they're going to survive an AP pre-calc, but then we know that, the last 2 years we've had 100% success rate. Yeah.
Right.
And so I do think that I encourage, especially at the high school level, because we do have the increase in school counseling services, they are good gauges for families. Like I recommend before a family goes out and seeks a very high cost tutor or a private college counselor, that they go and look for I meet with our school counselors, our 8 that you met earlier, and allow them to talk you through the resources that we have specifically at BHHS. In addition to, we have 3 amazing grade level counselors at BVMS that can do the exact same thing. We do Core Academy. We have a Core Academy, was a Core Academy teacher, but we have Avid as another example. But we do have Core Academy at the middle school that helps with if your student's struggling in math or ELA. In addition, not necessarily tier 2, but a very targeted, we have the AVID program for a little bit of executive functioning, but really more around long-term goal setting. So that too helps students. So there's a lot of different options.
What's the schedule for the, I didn't realize that's the name, is called Core Academy. So the middle school and the high school have academic tutoring, right? So when does that schedule come out? I don't think I've seen it yet for BVMS or the high school. But just to answer your question, that's something that I understand has been really helpful as well.
Yep. So ultimately, they're actually in the process of kind of hiring those tutors. We have to get kids, in seats, and then be able to utilize like the diagnostic information both from NWEA and iReady to start making the recommendations and hire, but also in just hiring our tutors where we identify the largest need. Like we need a lot of English tutors or we need a lot of social studies tutors.
But do you remember last year we also had homework help? Like it was Tuesdays and Thursdays or Mondays and Wednesdays, and all the kids were welcome. And I felt like that was something that is really, there's equal access, and it's like a straight shot. Oh, you think you need a tutor for this? We'll try the one that we've got. Is that happening as well, the catch-all tutoring for both the middle school and the high school?
Yep. Again, just in the hiring process.
In the hiring. Okay.
Yeah. And they'll send out
keep our eye out for it.
Yep. And they'll send out flyers. And that's why I always say is go to the school counselor first. Okay. When you feel a little bit nervous, go to the school counselor first, process it with them, and then that way they can give you a really clear direction of, oh, it's going to be about another week, or the high impact tutoring starting, or we can,
I just will offer some feedback. I think that the community might hear that that these new resources are being made available to the students who are getting the 1s and 2s. But then you're going to get a lot of the other parents, the 3s and 4s, whose students still need support. And so I just would say that as you're implementing these amazing ideas, and me more than anyone, you know, I believe in this no child shall be left behind policy. I want to catch them all up. But I just will ask you to please keep in mind that we want to be able to offer something to everybody.
Yep. I think that's important because I know that some of the conversations predominantly around our elementary level has always been around the 1s and 2s. And over the last 2 years, we've been able to collect a lot more information on how many actual 4s are on our campus. How many of our students are actually scoring or exceeding each and every year consecutively, and what are we doing to ensure that we're differentiating for those students as well? So I think as much as it's important for us to have a conversation around how are we supporting potentially those students that may struggle slightly, it's also making sure that our kids aren't bored either, and that they are consistently challenged, and that we do get more and more of those kids that are having access to AP, Calc AB, because they're super excited and super challenged. And it's not just always about math, it's about ELA or social studies or even the fine arts. Yeah. And so I appreciate that our elementary, we started having this discussion last year and we're going to continue it this year. What are we doing also for the higher performing student to ensure they have access to things that challenge them? Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, let's, any questions? Ms. Cade?
I have no questions, but I think that this is a great idea. I love that we're implementing the air tutors, and I think this will be really beneficial for all students. So thank you.
Mr. Stewart?
Thank you for being so long-winded. It makes me not need to ask anything, so thanks so much.
Thank you. Great to hear. And actually, Dr. Chernus, we got some good coverage in the press once in a lifetime. And so I got a lot of questions about the media message regarding the tutoring. And so this was very informative. Thank you.
Dr. Stern?
I have nothing further to add.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yeah, thank you for explaining. That's really informative and very important. I wanted to ask you, are we receiving specific funding, I'm assuming, just for, like, that we can use for this?
Yeah, we have categorical funds. So we have a mixture. One is our Title I funds, which some of our families may meet a certain threshold to meet free and reduced lunch qualifications. So we can use Title I for some of our tutoring programs. And then Title III, which is specifically earmarked federal dollars for English learners. And so, yes, there's 2 areas in which we can pull from.
And are they requesting us to do the tutoring for different language students? Is that something that is mandatory, or is that something that we are doing voluntarily?
Both sides can be true. So one is that we know that we have some students that have become identified as long-term EL students. So as part of our plan to tackle those students that have been considered EL in the United States for longer than 3 years, that's initially why we came to the board about 4 years ago saying we need additional support outside of what we're able to provide during the day. So that was to help to tackle that, to address that both to the state and just for us, right? No child should be left behind with us. And then from that, our DLAC has made the recommendation to our superintendent and to us to include it in our LCAP as earmarked funds each year, because them as a group really that they see the support in it, because even air tutors helps the parents understand what's happening. So on their initial meeting, they actually meet with the full family and explain, because some of the parents.
Via Zoom, obviously.
Via Zoom.
Or phone call.
Yep,
right?
or a phone call, but via Zoom, to explain the tutoring process, the expectations, and the American school system. So the parents have benefited from the system as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the students that don't have the language issue and they just want to get their grades up, they are having the same benefits per se, the same amount of time, which is 1.5 hours a week?
Yep. If you qualify, regardless if you're non-EL or EL, it's the same time.
Yeah.
So for the secondary, it's 1.5 hours. For the littles, it's only an hour and we actually split that up into 2 30-minute sessions. They just become.
Or 40, for the littles?
Yeah, for the littles. And for the upper grades, they can do 1 in 1 hour and a half hour, or 2:45, or it's
Now,
up to them and the tutor.
I wanted to ask you, is there any way, like if a student needs more than those hours, are those hours sufficient enough? Are they getting a lot done? Are we seeing the grades going up? Is there any way to track them? Does the air tutor come back and see, obviously, what did they get on the test, or what were they studying on? Because if it's 1.5 hours per week, let's say regular without even with the language, I think it's even more difficult.
Yeah.
Would it be enough for all the subjects that they have? That's my question.
No, it's a great question. So over 4 years, and I still have all that previous data, we pull each semester, and I'm going to backtrack it up, each quarter, we're tracking the attendance sheets of our air tutor attendees. So not only, if the kids miss 2 sessions, they're automatically out, because we're still charged for it if not. So we make them take this seriously, because again, it's outside of the school day. We can't hold them accountable. But then within that accountability structure, we're checking their grades at each quarter, and we're also following up with the tutors as well. We're having conversations with the tutors. And so each quarter and each semester, we're cross-referencing, are these kids falling on the D's and F list when they previously were, and that's what qualified them to get there. And our goal is to not have it be forever, right? So as soon as they're able to learn and be able to take themselves off that D and F list and empower themselves, then by the next semester they may not need an air tutor, or may not need the high-pack tutoring either.
And we can also we can do the air tutor, and we can do the after school eventually, I think, the program that Dr. Chernis and you were speaking of.
Yep.
So we can do both of those, right?
Yep. And and to recall, we also offer a lot of intervention programs built in throughout the day. I think specifically, we have 2 teachers at each location at our elementary schools that are primarily focused on intervention, and we hope to add a little bit more of that advancement conversation to their repertoire. In addition to, we have at both BV and BHUSD, we have things like Learning Lab, we have our ELCs, our English language coordinators on campus. We do have a lot of really great resources that the board has been able to provide funds for us, and that's why I always say is the school counselor knows everything.
And
right?
also, that's really fantastic, and thank you for getting into the details. And just for the community to know, this is not something that every district does, right?
No.
This is specific, what we do at Beverly Hills Unified School District, that is absolutely amazing. And as a mother with 2 adult children that I did not put in public school, until they were in high school, I should say, the private schools, if their education is low, they push everything on the parents, and they're just like, go get them tutors. Everything you have to pay for the private school, plus you have to pay for the tutors. And I think parents are very grateful that we have all these resources to help our students, get ahead. And thank you for that, and thank you for your presentation.
Okay, I just want to add a few more words to this. First of all, Dr. Seaman, thank you for that very comprehensive explanation. As you know, I wanted this to be discussed because there's been so many questions regarding tutoring and air tutors and so on and so forth. So I'm glad that we were able to visit this topic tonight and get a little bit more of a handle on what it's about and how to go about it. I just hope that the parents that are out there have been watching this so that we're answering their questions. And of course, there's still one person that they can always go to, and is that their counselor, as you pointed out. And, well, even if they're in the elementary, I mean, or to the teacher, but the counselor, if they need to get help and they have to go to their counselor to get it, or to the assistant principal, that they know that that's where they have to go. And one of the things that we as a board have been very, very worried about is the scores that our kids have on their tests. And we want them to do better. And this whole process is to get our kids to achieve at higher level. And I think that that's the purpose behind it, and to get them to a greater understanding. So I think we're giving them as much as we can to improve in their academic progress. So I want to thank you again, and we can move on, okay? Unless there's other comments, but I think we can move on. All right, it's now time for the board members to report, and I'm going to start first with Ms. Cavey for her meeting report. If you've been, anything you want to say at the end of the meeting?
Sure. I thought this was a great meeting. I specifically love to hear all about the construction that's coming along. That really excites me, and yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Stern.
Mr. Stewart?
Mr. Stewart.
You've never been called that one before.
Yeah, but you know, it's a new title.
I was concentrating on something.
No worries. Well, thank you, Charlotte, for my notes that I get to copy off of you, because they're all here. I want to start, I know I do this all the time, and I'm sorry to embarrass you. I have to shout out our PIO, Colby Gillardian. You're getting a round of applause, and I haven't even said why.
He's hiding right now.
They could see why.
One of the things I want to mention is, leading up to my little conversation about the back to school night, is Colby practically single-handedly understood that we have all of these hallway TVs, some of which are in the new B building, and some of which are on the upper deck in the A building, and none of them have worked for a very, very, very long time. And Colby, truly the professional that he is, he said, I don't want new parents to come to our high school and not see these things working.
Yeah, right.
And single-handedly got up on a ladder and literally fixed 7 TVs by himself. So just to shout out the dedication to our community, to our kids, to our families, and just to our brand, to not want a family or a returning student to walk around and see dead TVs. So just want to shout that out. Back to school night, it was my first for the high school. There's so many people that I want to shout out, but I want to shout out 3 people specifically. One, to piggyback with you, Charlotte, about the food, Chef Lise, and all the kids who prepared the food. I thought the food was absolutely unbelievable. I thought I was at any 5-star restaurant in Beverly Hills. I truly apologize for how much ice cream I ate. Yes, the camera adds 25 pounds for me. But just an incredible amount of talent that's coming out of that class, and the chef and the students just did an unbelievable job. I want to shout out Kyle Newman, our new KBEV teacher. Definitely the situation that he's had to come into with the political firestorm and a lot of parents who are against any changes in that department. I was there for the bulk of the parents who came down to go through that class, and the excitement and the smiles from kids and parents was unbelievable. And even some that were very against the changes that we had made literally said thank you. They were very excited about him, and the students, at least from what I've been told, all love him. So just wanted to give him a shout out. And I hope that this is not appropriate, but I really want to shout out Cindy Dubin for the unbelievable tragedy that her family is going through. The fact that not only was she there, but she was greeting everyone. She had a smile. We had an amazing talk about the planetarium project, and the fact that she embraced her BHUSD family and the Beverly Hills High School family and was there just is a testament to the professionalism and the soul that she has. So I just want to make sure that she is shouted out. AYSO, the 50th anniversary, saw Mrs. Marcus and Judy at AYSO, brought my daughter. I just thought that our partnership with AYSO not only was so well represented, but I was shocked at just how many of our students are involved in AYSO soccer. My daughter saw gazillions of her friends, and it was such a well put together event. And Rich Barron, just very grateful to all the kind words, and I just think that's one of the special partnerships that we have with an organization that hopefully 50 more years of success. I too went to the water polo match. The fact that these kids can swim like that is remarkable. I was exhausted watching it for 3 minutes. But just to show the talent that we have across so many separate sports, and Milken was not a bad team. Just we really showed incredible dominance, great crowd, families were great, and Colby, of course, running down there with his lens and getting some great shots. It was absolutely phenomenal. Football coming up, had a lot of parents who are very excited about this home game. The energy around the new uniforms has been phenomenal. Very excited to see this team play. And again, just the energy around football, soccer, girls volleyball, all of these different sports that we're focusing on, has been absolutely fantastic. The KBEV project, I just want to shout out Will and the team again. It has been obviously, it's a big project. It's an institution that's been around for 60 years. I'm just grateful to everyone who supported it. I was in there a few days ago. It is obviously a kind of an eye shocker to see now this room completely as one room instead of 15 separate rooms. But the kids are going to get a fantastic studio, and a shout out to the company who's already started to do the digitization of our footage. It's going to be so exciting to finally be able to see every bit of excitement that program has done for our sports, to interviews, to a lot of famous people who have either been to our school and spoke or have actually come through our schools. It's going to be an amazing thing to see all of that archived footage. And just want to, again, shout out, I know I said this 2 weeks ago, but I just want to thank everyone who's on this team. This past week, dropping my daughter off at El Rodeo each morning, I've had another parent come up to me and just go, the new principal's amazing, or Billy's amazing. And look, change is hard, and change is not everyone's cup of tea. And I try and gauge the success of something based, I don't want to say the haters, but I mean, I like to go up to someone who had a negative feeling about something and say, how is it going? And I've had people that were dead set against change literally just go, wow, these people are fantastic. And it's just a testament to how professional you guys are to go out and find those people to come into some pretty hotbed situations and thrive and just be absolute superstars. And I think that this year is going to be a absolute district changing year based upon this team that we have here and the decisions that you guys have been making. So just congratulations to everyone, and let's just keep rocking.
Thank you. Mrs. Manicherry.
Whoa, Mama. Thank you for all of that, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. I also have been around town, and I have received on behalf of all of us a lot of thank yous and a lot of great jobs and a lot of now I understand what you wanted to do for us. And whatever it is, I let the parents or the community member know which board member is the one that specifically spearheaded, you know, that issue or that item or that activity so that they know it's all of us doing this and working really hard. But I will say that I have gotten a lot of thank yous, a lot of everything is good, and a lot of wow. I see it now, ranging from a KBEV student who had been here several times that I saw at a family event recently to more. Even at the Soccer Fest, which was amazing, and happy birthday, happy 50th to AYSO, and thank you for all that you do for us. AYSO knows that on the tail end of COVID, they were, you know, kept one of my kids from falling deeper down, and I think the same goes for a lot of our kids. But a couple of the AYSO gentlemen, I bumped into them. I love all those commissioners. And they said, oh, we're meeting with Dr. Chernus on whatever, Wednesday or Thursday, and they were gonna ask you for some things. And they asked me what to do, and I said, just ask, and it's gonna be fine. And then I saw them back on Sunday at Soccer Fest, and they said, hey, you know, it went like you thought it would. And so I think we're all trying to put students first, like you do, and the community is feeling it. And so I agree with you. Thank you to everybody for your hard work.
I don't know whether I should step in here or wait till the other two finish, because by the time they finish, I'll have nothing to say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'll wait till the end. Thank you. Dr. Stern.
I actually don't have much to share this week. I will be attending the Human Relations Commission, I think, next Thursday. But I'm happy for our youngest son who made National Honor Society. We always joke that he doesn't open a book, but smart, a smart kid and a good kid, super nice. So we're very happy for him, and he's all, yeah, thank you. And he also is very gracious with his time when he understands something. Again, not opening books a lot, but he just really gets things. And so when he does put in that extra effort, he's like, you know, like 150%, and always very gracious with his time to help others. And it's very sweet. So thank you.
Mrs. Sabag.
Yes, so I want to say that every single time I speak in the end of the meeting of the report, it's always on a happy note, and I feel like the respect is so important. And with all my heart, I feel like we have an amazing board. We do have an amazing board. With that said, I also like to say, when I was running for the board, I respectfully declined an endorsement from the teachers union because I didn't want a conflict of interest. I didn't ask for any endorsements. I worked really, really hard to be on the board. And the reason I came on the board is because I wanted to be part of a change. I care about the students. Not my children specifically, because I am not feeling that there would be any benefit. There's actually no benefit for me to be on the board for my own kids because they get less of my time and a lot is taken away from them. We are volunteers and we work really, really hard. I see it and I appreciate it. And I also wanted to say something that I wrote, and this is actually the first time that I feel compelled to express my complete disappointment regarding what transpired during our last board meeting and the subsequent special meeting. And this is the first time I'm saying this because I feel compelled to, because it's getting out of control. First, I want to make something very clear. There is no board majority on this dais. Each one of us holds our own views and convictions. To use language such as "you guys" is not only dismissive, but it is also insulting. Even more troubling is any attempt to pit a board member against one another. Such conduct is not only shameful, it undermines the integrity of this board and the trust of the community we serve. As we all know, Beverly Hills is a very small, close-knit community. We are not anonymous here. Everyone knows everything within our bubble. So why were we on the national news? Because one of our very own community members, who, it is important to note, does not currently have any children in our district, contacted the media and chose to broadcast our anti-Semitic resolution to the nation as flying the Israeli flag. This gave strangers who have no connection to our community the opportunity to attack us with vile anti-Semitic hate. Did that community member put the interest of our students first? Absolutely not. The anti-Semitism resolution does have everything to do with education. The NEA, National Education Association, wants to sever ties with the ADL, Anti-Defamation League. And the CTA, California's Teachers Association, also wanted to sever ties with the ADL. UTLA, the Teachers Union of Los Angeles, already voted to sever ties with the ADL. To be clear, the ADL is the Anti-Defamation League, a leading anti-hate organization founded in 1913 to combat anti-Semitism and other forms of bigotry and discrimination. Its mission is to protect the Jewish people and secure justice and fair treatment for all. The largest teachers' union wants to sever ties with anti-hate education. So yes, the resolution is about education. And it was not by any means self-inflicting wounds. It was and is necessary to combat anti-Semitism now more than ever. With full transparency, I also want to clarify the actual number of emails we received regarding the resolution. Contrary to what was stated during our special meeting, it was not 480. 188 emails came verbatim from a mass mailing service domain called everyactioncustom.com, which is used by organizations to send paid advocacy emails on behalf of supporters. 34 emails were submitted through our district website from outside Beverly Hills, coming from individuals across the United States. 2 emails were from alumni who mistakenly assumed we would be flying the Israeli flag. And just today, we received another verbatim email, so that brings us to 225 emails. Why does this matter? Because we have a duty to be transparent with our community and not push fear-mongering. The narrative that we received 480 unique individual community emails is simply not accurate. And I'm sorry, I'm talking. And accuracy matters because trust matters, okay? We're all here for our students, and we are non-affiliated board members. Beyond politics, beyond personal differences, and into the realm of morality and education, it is extremely important teaching and addressing anti-Semitism, an ancient hatred that has resurfaced with alarming intensity in our schools, in our cities, and across the world. We have witnessed the spreading of misinformation, lies, and dangerous stereotypes that target the Jewish people. These are not abstract concepts. They manifest as vandalisms on synagogues, harassment of Jewish students on college campuses, intimidations of families in their neighborhoods, and hate speech amplified online. This is not history. It is happening now. Our anti-Semitism resolution is not symbolic. It is essential. It ensures that we will not shy away from confronting hatred, but rather equip our students. It means our students will learn about the dangers of scapegoating, about the Holocaust as a warning to humanity. It proves why education is more urgent than ever. For if we fail to teach our students to distinguish fact from propaganda, if we fail to equip them to recognize lies masquerading as truth, then we allow hate to take root. History has taught us that silence in the face of anti-Semitism only emboldens it. As Eli Wiesel once said, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And we cannot afford indifference, not here, not now, and not ever. Thank you.
Thank you. So as my final part of tonight's meeting, I would like to talk to a little bit about what I would like to mention that on sometime last week, or last week, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, I visited El Rodeo. I wanted a chance to actually experience the lunch line that they go through at the elementary school, and I have to tell you, I was very, very impressed with the organization, the smoothness with which it moved, and I even had an occasion to taste the kosher lunch which was offered that day, and it was really pretty good. So I think that I'm going to visit all of the schools. I'd like to see all of them so that I have a firsthand knowledge, so when someone tries to say something about it, that I will have an answer and know that I at least have visited it, because it's the absence of, I want to be able to be knowledgeable. I also attended back to school night, and I have to tell you, I was extremely impressed by Mr. Stewart already mentioned it, the food on the third floor. It was unbelievable. I had to resist because I would have put on 20 pounds.
I did not resist.
Well, you have the 20 pounds, but I don't. But I did taste some of them, and
She's being generous.
you said it, I didn't.
You said 25.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm, okay, I didn't hear, my hearing is sometimes not so good. And I want to tell you that I was very impressed by the presentations that the teachers made to the parents in the classrooms about how they structure their classrooms, how the kids can get information, how they get self-help, and so on. And they were organized, and they did a beautiful job. The ones that I went to were really, I was very impressed. I also want to mention that this coming Monday is an early meeting of the Health and Safety Commission, and someone that we've heard speak many times is going to be doing a presentation on social media safety, and I wanted to get together with you. I think I sent you an email about what we might be able to present to the health and safety that we do here at school to protect our students. And I thought that we might get together and do that if you, okay. Also, at this point, I would like to take a moment to say L'Shana Tova. Before we meet again, we will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah. I think it starts the night of the 23rd of September. And I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and to those that apply to. And with that, I'd like to remind everybody that our next meeting will be September 30th. It's a general meeting, and I'm officially adjourning the meeting. Thank you.